All right. It's 2021. Listen, I got news for you. I got a new microphone. I got a new headset for podcasting as we enter 2021. And for some reason, that live studio audience clapping doesn't sound nearly as good on my lesser quality microphone. That being said, guys, Happy New Year to everybody. I've got people out there in the chat. I've got the Great Hustle and Motivate, making sure the audio sounds perfect for you. So, Hustle, keep me in touch and let me know how I'm doing. I want to say what's up to everybody, and I hope everybody had a great holiday. We did take last Friday off. We are back tonight on New Year's Day. So happy New Year's to everybody. 2021 seemingly already starting off on the right foot, right? Because you're starting 2021 with the Mooch. It's just the way it's supposed to be. Why couldn't last year start it out this way? We would have been in a better predicament. That being said, I want to say, please take a look right above the description. You'll see the join button I have there. And that is how you become a Mooch Maniac family member. And I can't thank you how much it means to me week in and week out that you guys are here and sponsor and help me get through the new year. That being said, let me say this much. Let me thank each one individually really quick. I've got Sir X-Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Ben Link, TrueWiddy, Failed Pyromancer, Frostbite Slash, Jacob Evans, Tactical Gamer, Zombilla Ice Cream, CustodsX, The Great Hustle and Motivate, who's with us tonight, L.D.W, DragonHeartYoby, AceJunky, Two-Tone SB, Queen Gamez, who, by the way, Queen Gamez became a family member again because she lost the last account, but she is back. It's great to have Ice Cream back. Thank you so much. Our major Mooch Maniacs, Humberto Pedro, and then I've got the wise old gamer, Windingo, 4-star general, Shaun Slamka, Brian B., a.k.a. Delirium Blades, Audible Fart 507, VIP Mooch Maniacs, Darkseed 80, MexJ 88, Remarkable Knights, Van W., a.k.a. the Butcher Van, Rich Kreischer, Rated D Demonic, Percolator 9000, and Director Productions. Thank you guys so much. And honorable mentions, we miss you guys. Replicant, Marlesco, Emperor Wraith, Wilmy Hood, and the forever Mooch Maniac, Longshot 316. That being said, guys, we have an outstanding show for you. Let's start really quick here. I really do want to kind of get into this amazing panel. First of all, everyone's going to be asking me, where's Crap? Where's Crap Gamer? Crap told everybody he was taking 2 weeks off. This is technically still the second week. Crap will be back next Friday. I spoke to him earlier today. He's enjoying some time, family, and gaming. So cheers to Crap. Crap, we will definitely be promoting the channel later on in the show. But let me take no further ado, guys. He just passed another 5 bars in 5 different states. He's defending Xbox from New York to California. He's here for you, not for me. It's the Xbot 448. Xbot, how the hell you doing tonight, buddy?
What's going on, people? What is up, Mooch? It feels good to be back in the seat again. And I gotta say, you know, for the next 3 to 10 years, yes, I am gonna be that lawyer, brother. Which means from now until 10 years from now, yes, I will be that lawyer, brother, for
buddy,
you.
I truly appreciate it, and the show appreciates it, because it's just not the same without the Xbot 448. So, Xbot, welcome back, buddy. Great to have you. Guys, by the way, if you're all enjoying this in the chat, please do hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button and retweet it out. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor. They probably didn't know. A lot of people were like, Mooch, I didn't think you were going to do a show today. I said, why wouldn't we do a show today? Let's do a show. So let everybody know, tweet it out, let all those good folks know as well. And then I've got a buddy of mine here. You guys know him as Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. I know him as the man who will forever be known as the Trivial Pursuit champion of my life. It's Brap. Brap, welcome back to the show, buddy. How are you?
Woo! Woo! Great to be on the show. Happy New Year, everyone. It's 2021. Hopefully it's better than 2020. I would imagine. I think it would be, but
I don't see how it can't be better.
You never know. But you never know.
Right? It's just the way
things have happened. Yeah.
So, great to have you here, Brap.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. What a great way to start off 2021 with Crossfire.
Well, I'm biased, but I do agree with you. But that's true. That's a true thing. Let me say this much. Shout out to the great Sin Vendetta, who's in the chat. He says, Happy New Year to Mooch and the panel, and wish you all a great 2021. Here's to a fantastic year of gaming. Sin Vendetta, right back at you, brother. Thank you. And the great Xbox Pope is here, guys. The Xbox Pope is here. The show is now officially blessed. It's not Sunday. It's Friday. But when the Pope's here, he is blessing the show. So, Pope, great to have you, buddy. I appreciate that. Speaking of people I appreciate, you know, this is someone I keep saying over and over again. He's not able to make it every week. He's got a lot going on, and he's making videos, and his latest video was just as great as the last 20 videos he's made. Shout out to Slow-Mo Backslap. Slow-Mo, outstanding job, man. I see you guys make videos, and I'm like, I got to keep making videos here. I got to make a video. But Slow-Mo, thank you for being here tonight, buddy. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm just enjoying myself. Happy New Year to everyone. Hopefully this year isn't the dumpster fire that 2020 was. And, I know some people are like, hey, don't say that. It's going to be worse. It's the sequel. Like, hey, look, I try to stay positive. I'm the positive guy. I know some people don't think I am. I'm extremely positive. So I think we're going to have a good year this year. I can't wait to really get into the more games that are coming out. I played I beat 40 games last year.
That's impressive.
And that's not even all the games I played. So I'm expecting actually to not play as many games this new year and just enjoy more
book snacks.
Yeah, not that one. That one can go in the bushes. But yeah, man, look, man, I can't wait to get into these topics. Let's do it.
Great, Slobo. And I got to be honest with you, we are going to be coming back to your latest video. We are going to be. Yeah, we absolutely got topics. Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to get to 3 of the 12, but nonetheless, that's not the point.
Of course.
I do want to say this much, though. Slow-mo, we will be going back to the video you made, because I did watch it, and I really enjoyed how you started the video. But we'll get to that later.
Okay.
It was absolutely comical, but I loved it. Then I've got my buddy here. Shout out to Hustle and Motivate. Hustle and Motivate, not only a Mooch Maniac family member, but just a very good friend of mine. We talk offline all the time. We're usually talking a lot of tech, but nonetheless, I got to be honest with you. Hustle and Motivate, outstanding to have you on the show, buddy. How you been? And I don't know. I've been talking to you nonstop for the past 3 weeks. But Hustle, how you doing tonight, buddy? And welcome back to the show.
Oh man, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me once again, Mooch. Ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name Hustle and Motivate. You can catch me on Twitter and Twitch, Hustle and Motivate. You can catch me on YouTube as well, but I'm doing some restructuring right now. Tonight at 9 p.m. on Twitch, I will stream Gears 5 Hive Busters. If you guys have not played that, you're doing yourself a disservice. Get Game Pass right now. You can get it for $1 right now and play the Hive Busters with 2 other friends, man. I promise you, it is a very enjoyable game, and it looks phenomenal.
Somehow,
thank you for having me, Mooch.
Hey, no problem, Hustle. I didn't know this, but virtually somehow Xbot, I believe, slid a envelope full of money over to Hustle for that promo for Game Pass. But that's fine. It's fine. We welcome that on the Mooch's channel. No, great to have you, Hustle. I appreciate it. And it's her first time on CrossFire. This is fantastic. So shout out to Noof Nukem, who's also in the chat. We were on his show last week before Christmas, which was an outstanding show. And I got a chance to meet her for the first time. And we talked about it. And we're like, we got to get you on CrossFire. She's like, I'll do it. Then I'm like, hey, lady, let's get on CrossFire. She's like, did I say I'd do that? So it was great. It was the best thing ever. So shout out to Lady AF, who is on Gaming Beyond the Box with Willie Hood and his channel. Lady, welcome to CrossFire for the first time. And how are you tonight?
Thank you for having me. I brought in the new year super hungover, so I'm dealing with that. Hopefully I can put a little pep in my step. I have some vodka now. Trying to, hair of the dog, get it going. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for the new year. I'm excited to see what is going to happen this year in gaming. It's a fucking fantastic time to be a gamer. So
I completely agree, lady. And I got to be honest with you, you are in great company. I believe everybody's a bit hungover, and I believe everybody is probably having a little hair of the dog. They need to have something to just kind of get over that. Gatorade is not doing what it prescribed it would do. So I went right back to the drink. Well, Xbot is always on Gatorade or something like that, right, Xbot? That's fine.
I got my coffee, man. I got my coffee.
Listen, I'm a big time coffee fan, but you're not going to get an argument from me. But I do have a special guest with us tonight. And, the man literally took no time off. He takes no time off at all. He says he's going to take time off, and then I watch 7 videos. It's unbelievable, the dedication. This man loves gaming, and I don't know, if you don't know who he is, get to know him and get to know him soon. Dreamcast guy, DC, it is outstanding to have you back on the show, buddy. I've really enjoyed your content over the holiday. You kind of kept me entertained, and you just got me more and more excited to get a new game into the system and play. So, DC, welcome back to the show, buddy, and how are you tonight?
Dude, I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much for the invite. I woke up super hungover this morning. I was playing Final Fantasy 9 yesterday. Yes. I was like, I'm going to play Final Fantasy 9. I'm going to have a giant bottle of Kraken. This will go great. At about 10 p.m., I just forgot where I was, basically, and I woke up today. So then I was like, oh, no, I have a podcast. Oh, I have CrossFire, the best podcast.
I appreciate that.
I got a Red Bull in me.
An endorsement by DC? I got to be honest with you. There's a chance I could retire tonight. That's fantastic.
We need that soundbite, people. We need that soundbite.
Yeah, you're going to clip it. Welcome to the best podcast, according to Dreamcast guy.
I haven't gotten that fancy yet, but if I was a clipper, I would do that. I don't never clip any scenes. I should do that. That's outstanding. DC, thank you so much. I will start with you, actually. Before we get to our first topic at hand, I do want to say thanks. Shout out to James Vincent, another individual I've been playing a lot of games with over the holidays. He says, Big Dog, glad Crossfire's back. Warzone this weekend. And one bad mother who I also got a chance to game with Brap, playing a little bit of Destiny 2. He says, make sure you remember to unplug the year 2020, wait 10 seconds, and then plug it back in. We need a full hard reset. Have a great year, friends. One bad mother, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Oh, hold on. 2020 is unplugged as of right now. Like, we plugged in 2021. We got the improved version. There's no need to plug 2020 back in. Let's be real.
No, we're not plugging 2020. 2020 is unplugged.
It's done. It's done.
So guys, do please tweet it out as we get started here. DC, I'm going to go to you because the main reason being here is the videos you made. And I want to do just a recap, everybody on the panel. And you know what, as DC kind of puts points out there, let everybody chime in on the panel, please. But one of the things I want to do is a year in review here. 2020 really is going to forever, DC, get a bad rap, okay? And rightfully so. I'm not going to sit here and defend 2020 at all. But there was things that I got a chance, and Lady's going to kind of hear me say this again because I said it last week on Noof's channel, is the silver lining in 2020, DC, was the fact that gaming took a major step forward, right? I think gaming really hit more of the casual market. I think some people that may have been deemed casuals have now become a little bit more mainstream gamers, and everybody just kind of moved up the notch a little bit more. I want to hear what your takes were. What were one of the things, you don't have to get into a plethora of them, but what comes to mind is maybe some of the silver lining of 2020, and of course, maybe one of the things, and it could be a game that really, bothered you or just hit you the wrong way for 2020. What were those highs and lows that kind of make you remember the year that was 2020?
I think the biggest thing was definitely that so many people seem to finally understand the social aspect of gaming, which I'd never seen before. Like, I'm currently single, so I'm on those crappy dating apps. And the amount of these like random white girls who have let me take you on an Animal Crossing date is surprising to me, but that's cool to me. It's interesting that people have found the fact that you can create your own language through gaming. Of course, there was the explosive popularity of Fall Guys, and then once that crappy game died, we had something good like Among Us. And so I feel like we've kind of realized the fact that like gaming isn't a solo experience. Like, people who maybe haven't gamed in 10, 20 years are starting to realize, oh, this isn't just Call of Duty lobbies and people saying they're going to suck my mom's tits. It's actual current fun co-op stuff. So it's been fun. I think it's been fun watching people treat gaming seriously and having fun with it. And screw Cyberpunk. That's the big low.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think that's a fair go-to, I think, for anybody that wants to give their low there. I think that game really... It was the promise, DC, I think, that we were kind of given, and then the lackluster performance we kind of got in the end product. I think it goes beyond just the bugs. Whenever someone says, well, Mooch, are you just talking about the bugs? And I'm like, I'm actually not talking about the bugs. I'm talking about what did that game necessarily, and DC, you played that game a lot, okay?
Yeah, I've nearly 100 hours total, yeah.
And what did that game bring something new to the table that you maybe felt that like other games hadn't in prior Western RPGs?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing it brought to the table that I hope people copy is like an entire universe built around one idea. Like, I feel like a lot of times lore, quests, main story, sub-story, there's almost this like dissonance, like stuff feels disconnected. Whereas I like that everybody exists in the same terrible universe where corporations literally own your fucking organs, excuse my French. So I like that there is this like ambivalent, like everybody's just having a day. People are having good days, bad days. There's, oh man, I got stabbed by a mutant cyber psycho who went crazy. Or it's like, man, I was at a bar and this person who was modified to be a snake gave me free drinks. I don't know. I like the fact that it's like this future that feels like current day in a way. In fact, I'd say the writing in that game, even though I think that the quests are way too glitchy, even though the game obviously crashes too much, I still think that it has some of my favorite game writing of any freaking game, maybe ever.
That's what I'm hearing from a lot of people. Brap being one of them. Brap has been nonstop kind of an advocate for, okay, the game's got problems, but the story's really got me lured in. Brap, that you still stand on that?
Yeah, that was the redeeming quality of the game, outside of the glitches, was that the story and them taking like a tabletop game and creating this lore, this dialogue, these characters. they really did a good job. Like I have to give them they're just due for that. I mean, it's pretty well done. But you know, as you mentioned, Mooch, the issue isn't necessarily with the game with the bugs and things like that. It's really how CD Projekt Red really misled media, the gaming public with this game. You know, and that's the issue, and that's why they're potentially facing lawsuits by their own internal investors, believe it or not, which is crazy.
Did y'all see the beat 'em ups? Wood for beat 'em ups did a video yesterday. It's like an hour-long video about the game, and I watched it. It's really good, but the thing that really shocked me the most in it is that he tested and he found out that all the cutscenes are scripted, and they don't seem like it, but like if you're in the car chase, the cars will automatically explode at a certain point every single time. So when you're shooting at the enemies and there's like a motorcycle chasing you, it's basically a cutscene, but you don't realize it. And
Really?
Yeah. And so he replayed it a bunch of times and would show you. It was like, yeah, this right here where this car crashes, even though I can put one bullet into it, I can put 50 bullets into it. It can only crash right here. So it's like it's the illusion. True. It's the illusion of interactivity. Wow. How crazy is that?
That's wild. I didn't even notice
that. I actually noticed that when I was doing the kind of the flashback for Johnny Silverhand, and I'm doing the car chase scene, and there's a part where Johnny is like, you know, hanging out the window shooting at people, chasing them, and I'm like, I'm hitting people, and I'm like, how are you still like driving? I'm like headshotting the driver, and then it's just randomly as I'm reloading, boom, he explodes. I'm like,
that's
huh? How did that happen?
Yeah, and I got to say, like, I even though Keanu Reeves kind of played a Keanu Reeves character, I did like him for Johnny Silverhand. I really did. I thought that worked very well. Enjoyed the dialogue with him and V and the back and forth that they had.
Was well done. I'm glad hearing that, Brad, because early on when the first reviews were coming out, and I much respect. It's funny, you know. How do I put this? It's kind of like something you have to kind of grow into. I've really, over the years, started to enjoy some of the reviews that are coming out from Giant Bomb. And they do it in their own unique way. And Jeff Gerstmann really has kind of grown on me over the years. And he literally did a real deep dive into this game. And he kind of played it as much as DC has played it, like many times, multiple times over and over. And the one thing he thought through his initial, because when I saw this review, it was like literally days after the game came out. So his opinion could have changed. But he thought that the Johnny Silverhand, the whole, like, it was like, there's Keanu's face, there's Keanu's voice, but the writing that they wrote for Johnny Silverhand is not something that we've ever seen a Keanu Reeves, like, act like. And he felt like it was kind of like a fish out of water. Does Jeff's opinion resonate with you guys, or not really?
I mean, I hated it. I'll be honest. I did not like his character. I thought a lot of the voice actors were good. He's the only guy who sounded bored. Everybody else, like, there was almost this electricity to a lot of the voice acting. People seemed so excited of like, holy crap, I got hired to be in Cyberpunk. Like, so many of the characters almost have a concealed smile even while reading dramatic dialogue. And I liked that. It made it where you felt fun to be participating in what is obviously cybernetic role play. But he was the one guy who always just like, I walked into a bar and suddenly, I don't know, you're paying me in potato chips. I don't give a shit. Anyway, so yeah, there's all these like robots, and I shot them.
Yeah, like it just seemed like it almost like they forced Keanu into the role. You know what I mean?
I liked his dialogue. I mean, I thought he came across as a kind of a smug asshole and very like in some ways condescending at times. I like that. I mean, to me that's a kind of role I think Keanu's kind of played like in the past a little bit, you know. And I just couldn't imagine. I was trying to imagine like, would I like this game without Keanu, right? And I don't know. I don't think so. I just feel like he nailed that kind of smug, you know, asshole that he was, and just in some ways, maybe he was borderline narcissistic in some ways, you know?
Yeah.
All you guys are doing is making me want to play this game. Like I have the game. I played it for a little while, but I'm waiting for an upgrade, you know, on my system.
I don't blame you, Spot.
You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for an upgrade, but to hear you guys,
I would wait for the upgrade. Spot.
I'm like, it can't really be like this, man. I hear you guys like tag teaming, yo, high-fiving each other. Now you come in and you slam this game. Like I gotta play this game now.
Well,
all you guys
Xbox,
are doing is just hyping me up to play this game.
Xbox, I don't think it's not.
Upgrade.
It's actually not as in DC. You know, listen, I'm not going to paraphrase. I guess I am going to paraphrase your videos. You've done a number of videos on Cyberpunk, and if you go back and watch your first brutally honest review, I got to be honest with you. My takeaway from your brutally honest review was that you actually enjoyed the game. For what it was. Nothing really, as you've said, nothing revolutionary, nothing new to the forefront. Definitely bugged like crazy. But at the same time, you said you enjoyed it for what you played.
I gave it a 9 out of 10 originally because I played on an Xbox Series X. On Xbox Series X, being able to just instantaneously travel. One of my things I think the game does the best. I don't regret playing it at all. And the biggest reason is that city is massive. Night City is so large. It is definitely a step in a new direction. I think once they come out with the next gen patch, I'm going to do probably another 100 hours. In fact, I'm stopping playing it on my PS5 because I'm going to restart and definitely do whenever it's out on PS5 in April or May or whatever. I'm going to go back through it. But even if you played it right now, I absolutely think you get your money's worth.
And that's interesting. I want to say shout out to Fork Boy Gaming. Shout out to Fork who's in the chat. I was very, very fortunate to win the one of the many giveaways they were doing for this game. And it was funny. I spoke to Fork and he says, Mooch, where do you want to play it? I said, let me play on PC, right? But like, realistically, I would have, I got Brap in the backlight in a match, but my point being is, I wouldn't have minded playing it on Xbox, right?
No, Mooch, PC, man.
I would, well, you're right. And that was the least amount of bugs and the best visuals, period, as it currently stands today.
Let me just say something, Mooch, about the visuals on PC. Like the game, it's funny. Like I was talking to Slow-Mo about this. Like the game definitely wasn't as it still wasn't even really optimized on PC. It is much better now. Like when they came out with the last patch,
it definitely wasn't optimized on
PC.
He was basically being, if you had like really superior hardware, then you could get the most out of it. But even then, you're looking at like some frame rates where you're just like, man, I would expect higher frames in this. But you know, if you got an NVIDIA card that's a RTX or higher, then RTX 2000 or higher, I mean, then you'll be set because but even ray tracing and DLSS, you know.
But even then, Slow-Mo, like I noticed that like it wasn't running as good as it should be, even with DLSS. I mean, it was. I mean, compared to other people who didn't have RTX cards, but it ran well. But even with DLSS, like you remember, like we were talking kind of behind the scenes, and I was playing around with the settings. This is the first game that really I had to really dive into the settings to figure out, okay, well, how can I get ray tracing and 60 FPS? And I'll say this: the last patch they came out with, patch 1.6, the ray everything's much better. Like it's like I was losing half the frames when I was going into Night City, dropping from like 60 FPS to like 30. And now the frame rate drop isn't as brutal as that. It drops down like maybe like the 45 is from 60 to 45 would be the most drop compared to like 60-30.
You know, it just goes to show that they really shouldn't have launched the game this year.
Yeah,
this game should have been launched like first quarter of 2021. For it to not even be really ready on PC, and it says a lot about where the game was, about how they handled reviews. Oh, hey, look, you don't use your own footage. Use our footage.
Yeah,
you can't get any keys or any review keys for the consoles. Like that, it's just so
yeah, exactly. Totally shady. You know, I will say this though, the game is beautiful. Like with ray, I turned off ray tracing shadows and reflections, but I left ray tracing lighting on. And even with that on, I mean, the game looks like best looking game I played this year.
It is impressive on PC. It does look quite impressive.
There's like a conspiracy theory I've seen going around that it's like, according to Swedish law, what you're supposed to give people within the same fiscal year. If somebody gives you money for a product, you have to give them the product or some weird thing like that. Or sorry, Polish, because they're a Polish company. So one of the things I've seen going around is that they had to release it this year, or they'd have to give back like the $1 billion of pre-orders. So they just released it knowing it was only 90% done. That's one of the rumors I heard going around, because they were like, they realized, okay, we could put another 6 months of the game and it would still sell, or we could just release it right now.
Well, the funny thing about this is I remember when the game's in development, a bunch of people in the community were like, they're not going to release this game until it's ready. I don't know if you guys remember that. They're like, it is CD Projekt Red. You see what they've done with Witcher 3. And of course, Witcher 3, when that first released, that game was broken as hell as well. I think a lot of people forget that, but they're like, no, they'll delay it. They'll delay it until it's absolutely ready. And now look at everything everybody is talking about. I guess, they didn't delay it until everything was ready.
Yeah.
The funniest thing to me is this is a previous generation game. This is an Xbox One PS4 game.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And to see how bad it has run on the hardware that it was mainly developed to play on, to put, that is the most astounding thing to me. Is that, when it came down to it, when they delayed it, everybody's like, oh, they're putting polish on the game. They should have been polishing the Xbox One and PS4 versions, because they even marketed and sold a limited edition Xbox One X for this game.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Imagine if that would have launched at the time when they were selling the console. Good grief!
Oh no!
Like at what stage of development was it at then? At that time, it would have been completely unplayable, and
people would have been mad.
Yeah, there are no PS5s and Xbox Series X's for you to play it on, that where the hardware, just by virtue of the hardware being better, the game runs better. There would have been none of that. It would have been a complete shit show.
Let me do this real quick.
It was already a shit show, but still.
I want to say shout out real quick to a couple of the super chats. I got Sin Vendetta, by the way. These are a few. They're older. I apologize, Sin. I missed this one. Sin says, Mooch, being endorsed by Dreamcast Guy is like being endorsed by Commander Shepard. I completely agree with that, by the way.
Commander Shepard.
There you go,
hilarious.
DC, when you leave here, your head's not going to fit through the door. It's great.
My head will spin on backwards. I'll get on a elevator for exactly 32 seconds, and then I'll leave the show. It'll be great.
I appreciate that. That's great.
Can love those long elevator rides. And,
JudaZuk says, I honestly have had almost no bugs at all. For me, Cyberpunk 2077 is probably my game of the past year playing on Xbox Series X. So shout out to JudaZuk, who's also a Mooch Maniac fan member. And, speaking of that, the great Wilmy Hood is here in the audience. We got the great Crap Gamer, Saltiest Gaming. So great to see Noof. Boom, boom, kaboom is here. Noof, I would yell your name louder. However, we are all on hangover. We're gonna go ahead and
leave my buddy Jason alone. All right. I know Sony said so many games are coming out next year, but until they actually release, I mean,
that's such a lawyer thing to say, Xbot.
It is all up in the air. Well, dude, I look at the track record when it comes. Now, lately, Sony has been decent with their track record of releasing games.
Yes.
But if you look at the entire last generation, like how many times did they delay Uncharted? How many times did they delay the majority of their first party games last generation? Like, until they prove that they have gone forward and they are going to be releasing games on time, it's as up in the air, man.
I mean, I think the difference is as soon as they drop them, it's all 10s. Anyways, moving on.
Woo! Meta who? Meta who? What are you talking about, bro?
I don't know. I'm acting like I'm sucking Sony toes. I don't give a shit.
Oh my god.
Well, let me go to Lady.
Pass the crack at Dreamcast Guy.
I got a question for Lady. I'm going to kind of... my first two topics really kind of revolve around each other. But Lady, I'll kind of go to you on this one. And you can go ahead and pick anything you want. It could be a game, could be an incident in gaming, anything that happened. But what were some of the rights and wrongs that I think PlayStation and Xbox encountered over the year 2020? I know I have a handful that I constantly keep going through my mind that really irk me as we move through 2020, that both companies kind of did this, I thought, wrong, and this maybe a little bit better than the other. But what's your take, Lady, from your perspective? And they can both be positive. It doesn't have to be a wrong. But what's one of the things that really shined for you or went wrong for you in either camp?
I mean, I think one of the things that has really shined for me has been the way that Microsoft has kind of come at the accessibility of gaming, and you can play, on PC and all these things, and they're making just that bridge so much easier for gamers, and I love that. I think that's one of the things that I see moving forward in gaming is just such a positive. When it comes to negatives, for me, the whole console launch has been kind of a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just now got my hands on next gen, and I ended up going and getting the Series S because I could not get the X. I still haven't had any luck with the PlayStation 5, so it's just, at least I've got something, and now I've I just got it on Saturday. I've had barely any time to play on it, but I think just the whole thing with the launch and being and the COVID, all this fucking that just didn't play into it very well at all. Not being able to go to stores and just pick it up, and everything being online, and the bots and everything has been just put such a sour taste in my mouth. And then the whole PlayStation 5 pre-order debacle, that was a big one for me as well, that I'm just ugh.
Yep. I don't like how they Sony's fault in that, in my personal opinion, is when they had that one I'm going to say he was a vice president, whatever he was. He came out and he said, we'll give you ample notice, which of course they didn't. You
make promises, you should keep your promises.
Absolutely.
Or if you say something, you should back that up.
And like you always say, you have to, and Xbot will agree with me here, you have to give your lawyer something to work with, right? So my point being here is he said ample time. Now, even if they gave us a week, we could take a week, right? The lawyers out there in the world could say, well, a week is ample time, right? But even though you might not think it is, but the thing is they gave us 24 hours. And then Walmart literally shit the bed, and they kind of let the cat out of the bag. And then that was when it was a mad scramble, because once Walmart did it, the other retailers are like, well, we've got a virtual inventory we can sell too. I don't blame them. Once Walmart did that, it was a free-for-all. And that's the debacle, So Sony's improper, I think, behavior on that point was their lack of keeping their word on giving us ample time. But shame on even Walmart to actually do that. I'm sure they got a slap on the wrist and a fine, but I don't think it really matters in the end, right? Walmart still got what they wanted, which was inventory out the door. So I think that's one of the things. I'm going to go over to Hustle and Motivate, because Hustle, here's the thing. Hustle and Motivate, you got to look at his name, okay? He motivates people. But I'm now asking Hustle to do the other side of the coin. Hustle, what is your take on a negative that maybe happened between either Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo, however you want to look at it, through 2020? What was one of the things that kind of irked you a bit as we left the infamous year of 2020?
Hey, I'm glad you asked me, man, because I really got smoked for both of them companies. Let's start with PlayStation, right? Y'all remember, and I think it was in June, back when PlayStation did that live event, Jim Ryan came out and said, the games that you're about to see can only be played on the PlayStation 5, right? Y'all remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And we saw Spider-Man, and I was like, oh my God, I'm first in line for it. And it turns out you can play it on the PS4, which Spider-Man's an amazing game. You go ahead and play that. With Xbox in particular, when they had that third-party event, Aaron Greenberg's bitrate was at like 1500 or whatever, and he had that old 720p webcam. A lot of it turned out super bad in that regard.
Yes.
Nintendo, Nintendo was just Nintendo, man. I mean, people tried to hold tournaments online. They said, nah, Nintendo said, we're not going for it. Somebody tried to make Joy-Cons for rest in peace for Etika to donate to mental health awareness. Nintendo shut that down, boy. Ooh, oh my God. Yo, you know what? Mooch, can I speak on something positive? I don't like the negative.
I was going to say, you're not going to stay negative for long. Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the positive things that this year, Spider-Man Miles Morales and Astrobot for the PlayStation, man. If I'm not a big fan of Demon Souls, I'll leave that up to Luca and Slow-Mo, and I'll leave that up to everybody else who plays those games. But those two games to me are like the launch games that you pick up when you get a PS5. Now, as far as what Xbox goes, I'm a Gears head. So, Gears having this 3-hour DLC called Hive Busters, man, it's super phenomenal. And I'm happy for Xbox now, because even though they had no games at launch, which was the thing. Let's go back negative. Let's go back to negative, man. You know what? We saw that Halo. We saw Halo Infinite, man. We saw Craig, man.
Right.
It was bad. It was bad. And if nobody spoke up about it, we would have got that at launch. That's right. That was bad. That was bad. And you know what?
If you want next gen textures, you're gonna have to wait. That's exactly what would have happened if people didn't speak up and complain about the way Halo Infinite looked. It was exactly going to be like that. They were going to launch with it.
Slow-Mo, you think they would have launched if people just would have said,
absolutely.
They definitely
without a doubt.
Oh my God.
If the backlash didn't happen and the Craig meme didn't happen, then they didn't get embarrassed. They definitely would have launched like that. The fact that they showed it to us, that you would show a game that visually was not ready. And then if you look at the interviews from 343 developers that came out recently, they're talking about how, like, with Slipspace Engine, so many of these features are still in development. And I'm like, so it's now December when they said that, and the game would have launched a month ago. and you're saying these features for your engine are still in the, so your engine's not finished, but you were going to launch this game anyway. Like, this is just stuff that you would think that they would have learned by now, that gamers don't want incomplete games. We don't want to hear, hey, look, here's part of the game. We're going to have ray tracing coming later. We're going to have 120 frames per second coming later. Like, no, launch it when it has everything. And the fact that you decided to delay after you got the backlash tells me that you don't really understand how quality control works. Right. Because you should have looked at that and said, that's not ready. We need to delay. It's similar things that I've seen with like Sea of Thieves. When they launched Sea of Thieves bare bones. Yep. And people was like, you know, like, I really want to play this game, but there's really nothing to do but collect chickens. So I'm out. Right. And then a year later, it's got campaigns, it's got all this other stuff going on for it. And it's like, and I've actually heard some of the executives of Xbox say, well, it was the thanks to the community and the feedback from the community that we decided. I'm like, no, you didn't need us to tell you that. You telling me you need some random Joe on the internet? You need people on this panel to tell you that the game don't have nothing in it to do?
Right.
They need a guy, Ponymaster664 on Twitter to inform them their product is bad.
Is that your sock account, Dreamcast guy?
It is.
No, I do agree with you guys, and that was my one thing with Xbox. You know, forget the game. You know, everyone will definitely tend to say, well, there was a lack of games in, as far as AAA blockbusters, and that's fine. They can roll with that one. I think that's a fair gripe, but I will say this much. My thing was, I just didn't care for, well, it was both of them. I didn't care for the July 23rd showing that we saw, and I didn't care for the June showing we saw, like you said, where Aaron Greenberg was, you know, using a 190p camera. And
we went from 720 to 190.
Yeah, I had to go. I could barely see him in that. It was so granulated.
It's a stop-go animation of a stick figure.
It was a sock puppet of Aaron Greenberg.
It was ray tracing.
It was. I didn't care for the shows that they put out. It made me really miss E3. I really didn't think E3 was something that back before 2020 when we were how many times did we have this discussion?
I tried to tell you, Mooch.
You were right. No, Xbox. Listen, I have no problem being wrong there. I thought E3 could have went away and we wouldn't missed it, but we really do. Because those shows that they have that they're putting on that are the virtual ones, first of all, they're doing the best that they can. I get that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with the actual production value. Of course, Aaron Greenberg's camera aside, I think that the rest of it was fine. But it just it lacked that excitement. Not
only that, Mooch, not only that, but when it comes to E3, when it comes to, well, first off, that's like the mecca. You know what I'm saying? That's the show. That's the most kind of like recognized show when it comes to video games and stuff, but it's a neutral site. Like, you know, you don't have, like, Xbox is controlling what they're doing on stage, but you have like the media completely surrounding them and checking out what they're doing and calling them out and stuff like that. And the same with PlayStation, and the same with Nintendo. If they're like showing something that's on a different piece of hardware than what they should be showing it on, you got people reporting live from E3. Like, what were they doing? What were they playing this game on and stuff like that? It's a neutral ground where you know, what we saw here was all, you know, catered to the company that was showing it. You know, Xbox could show everything on a super ramped up PC. PlayStation could do the same thing and just put you know, PS5 like footage down below on the screen, and there's nobody around it while it's going to like call it out and say, well, no, that's not true. This is actually what was going on and stuff like that. That's another big reason why we need E3 back. That neutral playing field as well, to keep these companies honest, man. Is
it really that we need E3 back, or we just need to have information given to us all at once and not drip fed throughout the year?
These corporations, they're when it comes to business, a lot of these places, not, you know, none of them are squeaky clean. None of them have like halos over their heads. You know, if they can get away with something, they are going to. All right, we've seen it time and time again with PlayStation, with Xbox, with Nintendo. If they can get away with something, they are going to try to. All right. So, you know, it's not about the information, because they'll gladly leave something out or something like that. So to have that neutral field where you have like you have the gaming media, you have you know, YouTubers, you have an audience there of just a bunch of different people that will say something about what is being shown and will call things out as well. I think that's something that we missed this year as well. I didn't like having Xbox.
This is what I meant by that, and I'll use the example of the pricing of the consoles. Now, typically before by E3, we would know what the prices of the consoles were.
Yep.
But this year, I mean, we went through this whole like, are they finally going to do it? This stare down, this who's going to blink first between Sony and Microsoft all the way into what, September, October, and it was just like, please, could you just tell me the price already? I like, and clearly we all knew it was going to be $500 for your con. Like, stop with this none of you were going 600. Okay, so just do it.
But yeah, no, dude, I definitely agree with you when it comes to the price. That was one of the worst things this year in gaming. Them kind of doing their showdown high noon and all that good stuff. Who's pulling first?
Right. But then it's not like them holding back games, because it was the lack of E3 or the lack of something like E3 where everyone would just decide it's at this moment or this week that we reveal everything that we're really doing for the rest of the year. That they decided, you know what, now Xbox for us, we're just going to show a bunch of third-party games no one cares about for this show, and then we'll show all of our first-party stuff like 3 months from now. And then Sony said, hey, look, we're going to show you some games here, but then we're going to show you our other games later this year.
And then we got 4 more a couple months after that. And hold on, there might be one more a month later. You never know. Like, and dude, this is why it's unfortunate that we went through it, and we went through it, with the console launch year and stuff like that. Yeah. But I kind of think that 2020 needed to happen like this. You know why? There were so many people saying, well, E3 is dead now. We don't need it. Now you know how important that show is, in the scheme of things, in the gaming community, in the gaming media.
Xbot, Xbot, you're right. Brep, you can answer the question if you want. I'm going to throw this volleyball up there. You guys spike it however you want. Okay, so now we, the consumers, see how much we miss the E3 not being there. That presence was needed. But do you guys think that the corporate side of things are looking at it the way we are? Or are they looking at it as, well, now we don't have to do it. We didn't do it this year. This is how we're going to go forward. And let's be honest, this is a huge burden off of them. There's an entire team at Xbox that was working round the clock. Like the minute it's like the Academy Awards, or even ask our good friend there, Jeff Keighley. The minute he's done with this year's award show, they start a week later on the next year's award. So that show that goes on that whole week is choreographed, written, it's edited, it's everything. The what is it there? Dressing, the wardrobe, everything. So my point being here is that's all out now. Now Phil writes a 2-page speech, DC. He's done. I mean, do you think corporate's going to go back to it?
So here's the thing. I got a hot take, which is that I think that E3 also lets more BS slide out, more information, more people catch stuff. But also, here's my hot take. I bet people would have been more accepting for Halo Infinite if it just came out during a presentation and we saw 100 other games that day. If you saw Halo Infinite, you're like, man, that gorilla looked weird. Okay, anyways, oh wow, look at this, Uncharted teaser or something. People would not have had time. But because everybody over the course of months came out and did their own individual laser-focused presentation, pretty much everybody who did a thing, everybody got roasted in 2020. There were Nintendo Directs that people were saying this is the death of Nintendo. Sony came out and was doing, hey, here's our state of play, and people were just being like, oh my god, you got no games. Like every single person, because there was too much attention. It wasn't divided enough. I think E3, I almost want to make up a term like it's the Valentine's Day law. Like Valentine's Day, random day in February, it doesn't really matter. But we put the importance on it ourselves. E3 is important because we make it important. So I think these corporate people are going to realize, okay, this is a good chance for us to come out, have all the attention, to have all the microphones and present stuff in just the way we want, and then disappear.
Okay, hold on. DC, I'm gonna disagree with you on your point first.
Yeah.
The reason why the Halo thing hits so hard is because, like, yo, think about it. Think of what would happen if Nintendo would allow a Mario game to come out in substandard conditions. Think about PlayStation, their marquee title.
Oh, you mean that collection that they brought back that they didn't do anything to?
No. I mean like a new. I know what you're saying, Slow Mo, but I mean like a new title.
Mario
collection. a new title for Mario,
Okay.
and that joint come out.
I just had to throw some shade at Nintendo because no one ever does.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I got so much focus. Now, in terms of, do you need E3 from a business standpoint? Y'all know how much money they spend on E3 every year? They ain't trying to spend the millions of dollars no more. No.
Tens of millions. Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna give you this. We're gonna give you this Sony A6100. We're gonna cut the camera on. You're gonna talk, and we're gonna transition to the next one. That's it. You don't gotta spend that bread no more. That's over. E3, in my opinion, it's probably over. Even when we get the vaccine, I doubt very seriously it's going to come back, because I want y'all to remember, before all of this happened, they were restructuring E3 anyway, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh,
Very
E3
true.
is dead. This, that, and the third." I'm like, "Yo, is it really dead?" They were trying to get celebrities. They was trying to get LeBron, James, James Dollar.
Hustle, that was part of the problem. Sony and EA, and I think one more publisher, I think Activision, didn't like the direction that the organization that runs E3 was going with getting celebrities and stuff like that. That's why they pulled out.
That's why Sony. Anyway,
yeah, they were out anyway. So whether the pandemic had happened or not, you wouldn't have Sony there. You wouldn't have EA there. You weren't going to have people there anyway. I think that it probably won't come back. One, because the organization that runs it is a shit show. But two, and they can't even keep press people's information private on their own webpage. They let that publicly. It's just ridiculous. They're just completely incompetent. But the other reason is that I think there's a lot of pressure on these developers and publishers to get something ready by E3 so that it shows in its best light, and all that pressure to get a showing ready instead of just making your game. And to not have to do that, and to say now because you don't have to get it ready by a certain time, just get something ready when it's ready, and then the very next show that comes up, whether that is Gamescom, whether that's the Video Game Awards or whatever, we'll just show it then. That's a lot less pressure on the publishers and developers. I don't think it's ever really going to go back to the way it was.
Hey, Slow Mo, hold on though. My fault. I mean to cut whoever that was off. I do apologize.
That's all right, man.
Yeah, y'all remember, man? Like a lot of this, like the summer of gaming with Jeff Keighley. I think that's still going on right now. That's
still going on.
Y'all know how long that took?
We're in summer gaming phase 3 right now.
That's right. It can definitely be done without the whole, without the E3 thing and all. It can be done. It just has to be done in a more efficient manner. But that can definitely be done from home, man. I mean, look, granted, I'm trying to hit the streets next year and when the vaccine drop and go to these different conventions and things of that nature. But E3 is over. When it's gone, it's gone.
I hope,
sometimes you gotta let it go.
From a business sense, you're making a lot of sense, Hustle, and I get that. And I'm probably going to be wrong here, but whether we're talking about E3 or you're talking about something as simple, and you guys know that I'm a big Walking Dead fan. I get it. I know it jumped the shark. I got it. But one of the things I liked the best from Walking Dead every Sunday when it came on was I liked Talking Dead afterwards, right? And I thought that was a great show because it gave a little insight into the characters. You had a little bit of a peek forward into the next week, if you will. But my point being here is now they try to do all these shows, right? And I'm just picking on this one show. But they do these things on a Zoom call, and you've got, Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the corner, and you got, Rick, and you got Michonne, and they're all in these, like, it looks like the Brady Bunch. They're in the squares, and they're all talking. Listen, it loses the appeal. It's, not just that, but it seems like everybody on Zoom these days has forgot where a comb is. People have all of a sudden, right? Everybody's just home and they're growing their beard down to their their lap, and it's like
that's why I went bald. I just went bald, so I don't have to actually.
I saw that, DC. Great, by the way, great picture out there. That's the thing about DC. He's in the middle of doing this shaved hair thing, and his shaver broke, right, DC? And you're like, let me just snap this picture and put it out there. And I'm like, DC is just one of the greats. It was hysterical. It was really, really great.
Everything for entertainment.
Absolutely.
So I have a question for y'all. So I live in Dallas, Texas, and this is where we have QuakeCon. So I go to QuakeCon every year. it's super interesting to be on the floor there because it is a completely free event. Anybody's allowed to go in there. You basically just say, hello, I'm a pro gamer. What's up, guys?
Yep.
They let you in. They have tons of open floor demos. You can play the latest patches they're going to be doing for stuff like Elder Scrolls Online. They did when Skyrim VR was being done. Anybody in the public, Evil Within 2 was there. Every year, it is such an interesting thing. And every booth is obviously Bethesda. It's Doom Eternal. I played Doom Eternal there and everything. Do you think that we're going to see more of that? Do we think like Sony's PlayStation Experience is the direction they're going to go, and then Microsoft's going to do please buy our box, we're so fucking broke event, you know, and just that, like everybody does their own little E3. That's all their branding.
Yeah, I think
it's so broke, man. Hold on,
I don't know. They literally have the most money. I'm doing that to roast you. I'm being dumb. They have the most money.
They have the most money. Yeah, you know, I think that kind of what you guys, I agree with a lot of what's been said so far about E3. I was supposed to go to E3 this year. It's supposed to be my first E3. And you know, I do think it's going to be back next year. Remember, Jeff Keighley also pulled out of E3 this year too.
Yes, he did.
He wasn't. I guess didn't necessarily agree with the direction of the show and pulled out, but pause. But so yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I did. I totally did. No, but I do think E3 is going to be back next year. But I think that the one thing we did miss is you know, we at least with E3, it was focused. We got all the information we needed. Where this summer we were just getting drips of information. I think that was kind of the frustrating things for gamers because we're so used to these events where, you know, we knew first week of June or second week of June, whatever E3 is, we knew we were going to get information. We're going to get maybe pricing on consoles or, you know, launch days, whatever the case was. We're going to get some kind of a reveal. We're going to see new games, and that really wasn't the case. Like things kind of got pushed down, you know, throughout the summer, spread out throughout the summer, and obviously, maybe with if we get back to some semblance of whatever normal is now, and I heard Hustle talk about vaccines. If that's a window of opportunity to have these shows, I think E3 will be back. But I do think what Dreamcast guy said. I think there's something to be said for these virtual shows. Where now, I mean, I think Nintendo's proved that you really don't have to have a stage presence at E3. They've been doing this for many years now.
Nintendo,
not having
though.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah, Nintendo can. Yeah, but the reason why Nintendo's successful is because they have content. They have content people want to see, and as long as you show gamers content and good content, like whether you're at
Nintendo is excluded from a lot of things in terms of the power narrative and stuff like that. They've gone their own lane. You know, they've done their quote unquote hybrid and stuff. So people aren't necessarily saying, well, you know, when it comes to realism and stuff like that, what the hell is Nintendo's problem here? And, you know, people aren't really scrutinizing Nintendo titles that way, the same way that they scrutinize PlayStation and Xbox as well.
Yeah, man. But Nintendo also makes really solid games. I mean, how many games? I mean, look, whether Animal Crossing is your thing or not, like Dreamcast guy said earlier, like Animal Crossing had a tremendous crossover.
Huge this year.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's actually, from what I understand, from what Gaming Forte was telling us, a good game.
Backlash for the character models and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Nintendo gets judged totally different, and they do their own different thing.
Absolutely,
I think that's Nintendo the reason why they, like, when it comes down to it, people always go, you know, PlayStation, Xbox. It's like, oh yeah, Nintendo as well. Like they do their thing. Like the competition, it always seems to be on the PlayStation and Xbox. And Nintendo, they're just off doing their own thing and you know, just raking in their money that way.
Yeah,
they just released those 3 games that were how old? Like so old.
Yeah, Mario games. Yeah,
right. You know, charged full price for them. Didn't enhance them. Didn't make
limited
them
time
any better. Like it was basically like an emulator on a fucking.
That's exactly
thing
what
of 3 games for $60, and
then
they were like, and it's only going to be available.
Lady,
limited time release.
I kind of compare Nintendo to Disney, right? Disney's literally the same kind of company in a sense, right? They can put out Sleeping Beauty for the 85th time, and they're still going to sell out of the damn thing, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so like, it doesn't matter what they do, but you do have to give Nintendo is in its own category. I know us gamers hate to do that. We're like, it's not fair to do that. but they have beloved titles. That, not saying that Sony doesn't have beloved titles and Xbox doesn't, but it's on a different realm. And the only thing I could really
been around longer too.
That's the thing I was going to say. It doesn't matter if we're talking about people in their 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Yoshi, go down the list of characters you want, okay? It doesn't matter. Kirby, they all affected people in a certain way and caught them in their youth. Yep. And I'm one of my slogans, I like to say, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, right? It doesn't matter how much. When I saw those 3 games come out, I'm like, I got to have those. Why?
Yeah.
Why do
I had to get them.
Right? But lady, I don't need them, but I had to get it, and I don't need it.
I have a few copies.
yeah, I'm a
dumb I want 4 copies of that.
I went in there, and they're sealed too. That's what's really awful. Is I bought it digitally, and then I also bought it physically. I'm just the dumbest bitch.
I buy all of my Nintendo games physically, just because the resale they just hold their value. Nintendo holds their value. I don't know.
$50 trade-ins. It's crazy.
Well, it's crazy, but we don't have the same amount of games that we're getting. You know, when you're working in retail. In gaming retail, and you get a box of Nintendo games, you know, on release day, you're getting like, 20 of them. When you're getting, a release day game for like Xbox, you get like 5 boxes. So it's just the volume isn't there with Nintendo, so it just stays.
That's right.
And it blows my mind because, like I said, like Nintendo is held to a different demographic. I remember. Before Zelda Breath of the Wild came out, I remember there was like a fan-made Unreal Engine Zelda, more realistic graphics. The lighting was crazy, and people were like, "Yo, that looks great. That looks great." What does Nintendo come out with? Basically, a cel-shaded Zelda, and it just sweeps the entire gaming industry. Like it wasn't even on shelves anymore, even though. The community was like, oh yeah, no, I really like that Unreal Engine, that more realistic looking Zelda. They should do that. They went the complete opposite with the official product, and it's just still like sold like crazy.
Yeah. So I kind of want to go back to what Dreamcast guy said about like maybe it's like Sony doing their own show. I think that was originally the plan with the PlayStation 5. They had these PlayStation events, fan events, where people could actually try out the haptic feedback controller or the PlayStation 5, the DualSense.
Yes.
And I could see them doing that more where they're going directly to the fans and having events like this as opposed to doing something like E3, because then now I think you touch more people that way. You can get, the DualSense in the hands of gamers so they can actually feel what that experience is like, because really that, like, unless you have a PlayStation 5, you really don't have an appreciation for the DualSense. I
heard people feeling those triggers a little too much, and a bunch of them are broken now. So,
well, we're gonna.
I saw that too. Yeah,
we're gonna get into that because DC did do a video on it, and actually, we can talk about it right now. I will say because I did want to we're gonna come back to everybody in the chat. We're gonna come back to some of the 2020, 2021 as we kind of enjoy New Year's here. But there is a little bit of news out there that's been circulating over the past few weeks, and since Xbox goes ahead and says that, I'll go ahead and just switch over. And here's the thing, though, DC, you did the video, so I'm going to go ahead and let you answer first to this, and then I want to hear the panel's thoughts. But you did mention it. Like, I've also, I myself have 3 DualShock. I bought extra controllers because that was like the only accessory I can get my hands on. Everything else was sold out, so I got controllers because, like you said, I have family. They want to play games. We want to play multiplayer games, so I have controllers. On all 3 of mine, I have no issues. So I'm in your camp where I don't have any of the problems that are being reported. But as I put here in the topic, and as you mentioned at the end of your video, is this a situation where it is a widespread issue? Or is it just, we are in the day of Twitter and social media where one person just tweets something out and then it's just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And it's talked about because, let's be honest, news is slow. So we're all talking about, right? So is this really a problem, or is this just something that's happening in the, whatever the percentage is that manufacturing would be, I'm using manufacturing saying acceptable. It's not acceptable to the customer who loses the trigger, right, on their controller. But it is something that happens when you have like the lemon law, right? So there's things that and that pertains to cars, but there are those things off of the manufacturing line. So is this a real problem, you think, DC, or is this just kind of like news for the end of the year?
So I think it's not a problem now, but I do genuinely think this is going to be a problem in about 6 months. So one of my fans disassembled their controller and they sent me a bunch of stuff looking at it, and they showed me that the actual gears inside your controller are very tiny, they are very thin, and they are completely this weird like synthetic plastic. I do think that if you're somebody that games a lot like we do, because we're virgins who live in our basement, of course. If I'm playing Call of Duty 10 hours a day,
now wait a minute.
Yeah, right.
Like
I think that there's going to be wear down. I do think that we're gonna start to the same way Joy-Con drift.
Those Joy-Con,
first
thing I thought of was
go ahead, lady.
No, that's really where Joy-Cons, like, we're still, how long has the Switch been out, and how that this is still a problem. Like, it's still an issue. It's not something that they've fixed, or the new Joy-Cons that are coming out are still having the same exact issues. So I can see it being a thing with the DualShock. I can just see it happening.
Yeah, a systematic thing. Yeah. Well, and that's my fear is if they go down the Nintendo route of being like, okay, like if you care to mail it to us, we'll fix it, but only if you're gonna slap some stamps on it will we actually give a shit. And I do think that I consider that a problem. We're gonna see in 6 months. We'll see. Maybe they're sturdier than they look, but I am a little bit worried as somebody who games on his freaking PS5 a lot. I am afraid that I'm gonna be in the moment and trying to punch a hooker in Spider-Man, and all of a sudden my controller just disintegrates, and I'd be mad. I'll be honest, I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
Virgin who lives in the basement and punches hookers. Got it.
Yeah,
I've platinum both games and I haven't punched a single. I'm like, what am I missing?
It actually is a secret level. Every time you punch a hooker, you lose a trophy. Actually, it's the only way.
Wow!
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Keep your trophies, folks.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's where when it comes to research, development, and design, a lot of people when the DualSense was first shown, and I was on record. I'm like, I think that's the best looking PlayStation controller that ever came out.
Right.
I equated it to basically the exotic BMW with that black, white, blue look and stuff like that. But when it comes to innovation, people are all automatically, the haptic feedback and stuff like that. But if the design isn't put together properly, and gaming is growing, more different types of people are gaming. And I know, like with me, I have very strong hands. I cracked my Elite version 2 controller. I'm
strong hands.
No, I do. I'm not trying to brag about it.
My hands are melee.
At the club, they call me the grip.
So.
They call me the grip. Oh my God.
Let me finish.
Xbox, if you were a superhero, your name would be the grip.
The grip.
Yeah. But it's a really bad thing, because even like my $180 controller, I literally cracked it with my hands. Like I literally cracked the thing, and it's put together nicely and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, we're looking at the beginning of this generation, right? You're looking at both of these consoles are getting sold out as soon as they're hitting the stores. So the consumer base, the player base for this generation is growing exponentially every time these consoles hit the stores. So more and more people are getting their hands on these things, which is why with what DC said, over time you're going to see this build more and more, especially with the pictures that he was talking about how that is made on the inside. It's not a good thing, and sometimes innovation can come back and bite you in the ass. You did a little too much on the controller and you didn't put it together properly, and it looks like.
Well, I mean, let's not go that far. You didn't put it together properly. We don't really know how widespread this is.
That sounds like a lot of conjecture here.
I mean, just like you completely screwed up the controller. It's
my hands are big.
Like 20 people that got this issue.
Hulk smash.
I mean, like let's pump the brakes a little bit. Like I get what you're saying, but like as you said, this is kind of it's innovative. It's something that we haven't really seen to this extent with controllers before, and we all know, as people who follow technology and stuff, new things have to evolve. They have to transition and get better over time. always the first addition to something new is never the best.
Windows,
yeah, right. Windows, or like the very first iPhone, I thought was a piece of crap. But then, over time,
Steam, the first versions of
do you really
Steam
think I'm going too far?
Steam is terrible.
Dreamcast said thin plastic gears that are powering the whole haptic feedback when it comes to.
Have you broke open any controller? Like all controllers, they basically look kind of the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of the components inside, like Slow-Mo saying, they're all built on that like very thin type of plastic. I mean, right now,
when it came to the Elite version 1, all right, when it came to the bumpers broke on my controller
because your grip.
Yeah, bro, you have Hulk hands.
Because yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're the grip.
You got the grip. You're the grip, man.
No, brother, I could palm a basketball, no problem.
You're the exception and not the rule. Your superhuman power.
Brother.
I got news for you. You know what I'm picking up out of this news story on this show right now is I want to have Xbox 448 and quality control for all controllers because because if they can survive that grip. I got new, and the audience is loving this, by the way, Xbox. You got to endorse this. You've got to completely take this in. They're loving the grip. They're loving it.
Yo, my new gamer pick is just going to be my hand.
Just a hand.
You gotta sell like O.J. Simpson style gloves. And these will protect you from the grip.
Don't fit.
Xbox only fan is just going to be his hands.
Oh, love it. Though.
Think about what these do for you. I'll give you the tug.
The tug.
Oh my God! Oh no!
I was waiting. I said we're only going to last so long.
It was only a matter of time.
Matter of time.
Yeah.
No, I'm Slow-Mo, and it's funny. I wanted Xbox to get his case in, but you said hold on, pump the brakes. It's funny. I was going to go to Slow-Mo first because I said I have a feeling. I feel the same way kind of Slow-Mo does. I do agree with some of the things that Xbox said in the fact that when you have something new, this is going to happen. But when we talk about last generation, there was quite a few. My Titanfall controller, the original Titanfall controller that I got from Xbox One, that had a drift on the left analog stick. Like I would just put it down and off it would go, off into to the left hemisphere for no good reason. I had a problem with that control, things like that. And then they said there was dead zones on the Xbox controller for the Xbox One, right? So I didn't necessarily, but you work through those things now.
But when those first came out, nobody was like, "Well, that might not be a serious issue, man. That might be a small demographic, and people are just retweeting it." Nobody was saying
here's the thing, though. I think to Mooch's point, though, like I think the things get put on social media. 4 or 5 people could tweet they're having the same problem with like a controller or a console, and then it becomes like mass issue. We really don't know what the fail rate for these controllers are, or how frequently they're breaking. I agree with Dreamcast guys. I think this next maybe 6 months we'll probably get a better idea how serious this problem is, right? And I do think it's probably a little too premature to start saying there might be a big issue here. This could be a mass problem. Sony's in trouble or something like that. I think it's way too early to have that conversation. Although I'm not saying that you totally just discredit what people are, I wouldn't say that it's not an issue, but I think it's too early to say that it's a big issue that most people should be concerned about. I think the next 6 months, like Dreamcast guy said, is really going to be telling whether or not this thing is a mass issue or problem with the DualSense controller.
I apologize to some of the super chats. Shout out to Sir X, man. He says this is when we were talking games prior, when we were talking pros and cons of 2020. He said that Immortals Phoenix Rising is also an incredible game, saying that was one of the surprises. I do believe that is true for 2020.
Love that game.
It's Face 23 says how Square Enix gets rights to make Avengers game and it flops hard. And Carl Smith, who just chimed in right now, shout out to Carl, who just throws this out there. Sports! He says, Roll Tide, Rose Bowl champs. So shout out to Carl.
Mooch, go ahead. Shout out to Sir X, man. Yo, he hooked me up with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. And I got to say, I am absolutely hooked on that game. Yo, shout out to him. It was an early birthday gift. Yes, guys, January 15th is my birthday.
That's right.
You can definitely send gifts. Xbox Live, Xbox 448.
Hold on, when's your birthday?
January 15th.
Oh, okay. Nice, man. My birthday's this Sunday. Capricorns.
There you go.
Oh,
wow, you know what I'm hearing right now? I'm hearing early mooching, and I'm very impressed. I'm very happy. I like that.
Yeah, I'm just remember, my birthday's on Sunday.
The remaster is fire. Absolute fire. It's on sale on Xbox right now for like $20, man.
No, that's great. Now, I'm going to kind of switch back here because we kind of hit that controller topic here. I want to go to Slow-Mo. I said I was going to kind of pick on you because you did a hell of a job on that last video, man. I loved how you kind of went over your best of 2020, and you basically told everybody, it was very similar to an Adam Sandler kind of rant there in the beginning. You're like, these are my picks, not your picks, so back off. So I love how you, right? So
that was pretty funny.
Right off the bat, Slow-Mo's like, get off my back. These are my picks, not yours. But Slow-Mo, let's do this.
Sometimes you gotta, be jump out there ahead of time and just before people start going, huh? You chose this? What is that? Well, I didn't like that game. I'm like, well, that's cool because it's not your list. So kick rocks.
I love
list. Yeah.
But even though the topic here really says about 2021, which I do want to get your take. Slow-Mo, what was your pick? That's how I'm going to kind of go down. And panel, by the way, you don't have to feel free to chime in whenever you want. But I'll start with Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, what was your pick for 2021 as your number one? Let the audience know. I know. But then also, what is it you're looking forward to playing that we know of? It could be delayed in 2021.
Oh man, I actually was going to do a video about this too. So one, I would say Deathloop is one of the games that I'm looking forward to playing in 2021.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not even really an Arcane Studios fan. I've tried all their games.
What?
I can't get into their games. But I looked at Deathloop and that gunplay, and just the when you look at the videos where they talk about like how the game is and how like you're this hitman who's got to take out like these 5 targets, but how you do it can really change like the way the AI of those targets think. So if you take out one target earlier in the day, later in the day, another target may have increased security, or they may not go to an event where they could be exposed. Or if you say like sabotage something with one target, he may end up being with another target later on in the day. You can take out 2 at once. It's just like that kind of gameplay I haven't really seen in games yet. So I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling it because of that. Now I've tried Disarmed, I've tried Prey. I just can't get into them. It's just not for me. But this one, I'm definitely interested in that one. Of course, because I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is definitely something that I'm looking forward to in like Q1 of this year. I play through the Mass Effect trilogy like once a year, but I would love to play through it with like more common features like HDR and textures that aren't from 2007 and stuff,
right?
Stuff a little bit more modern. I would love to see that. Kena Bridge of Spirits, of course. That game is amazing. It looks beautiful. I know it's from a brand new studio, so as far as gameplay goes, we don't know what Ember Labs can really bring, but everything that I've seen from it has me really feeling like that's going to be a sleeper this year. Outriders, because I love looters.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to be into.
I want to see a little bit more about Outriders, though. I want to see. I know we've seen some, but I want to see a little bit more.
Yeah, I played it.
You played it, didn't you, DC?
Oh, really? How you
I
like it?
played it too. Yeah.
How you guys like it?
I like the abilities. It's very tight. It plays a lot like Destiny. What version of it did you play, Lady? Mine only had. I didn't have all the abilities and I didn't have all the classes.
Yeah, DC, you did a video. You played it ages ago. I think Lady played it recently.
Played it last 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, you played it. I played it. I played it last
full
February.
game. You play the full game to, on the Insider app. They had it available there for a short time, and they had it completely open to where you can play through the whole thing. You could not play co-op though, and that's kind of like, if I want to play that game for the co-op ability. I don't want to fucking play through that game by myself. It's not something that I'm really looking forward to. But it's a game that I am super excited about it. I'm actually doing like a little side podcast about it as well. So like it's something that's up there for me. It was great. I really liked it. It's different. It has like almost like a cover system like Division, but you don't want to use a cover system like Division because you only heal when you're killing things. So it's like such a
so they're pushing you, or they're trying to convince you to be more active and more aggressive. Yeah,
you're gonna die if you're trying to use the cover all the time. Like there's no.
And so I got to talk to the developers after playing it, and they said that they were also trying to have a system that they were calling like pushers and shooters. So there's a lot of like long range guys who have sniper rifles, but then there are close range guys who have like baseball bats and could shoot fire out of their hands and shit. So you need to stay moving around the map. You can't just find a corner and buy a shotgun and sit there.
Yeah, and squat down and expect to kill, win or
is this the type of game, lady, where you play through and you finish the game and you're done and there's a new game plus, or is this something more of like a like DC was saying, in the sense of a Destiny, not actually, where it's an ever evolving game?
It's not a games as a service. It's not a games as a service. So what you're getting on launch is kind of what you're getting. There is going to be in game, of course. You're going to get to the end and they're going to have stuff like that, but it's not going to be a daily thing like Destiny where they're constly putting out
live services
like that.
Like dailies and weeklies. And that's why I'm so interested in Outriders, because I'm kind of done with the looter shooter. It's a second job. And I gotta, in order to keep up with everything and keep up with what's going on. And there's a seasonal event
and then everybody's fucking
people have laser canyons, and it's like, oh, that's great. I like
or the grip.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
The grips. He gets a special ability. He crushes grenades to defuse them.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's like, you gotta be a certain light level or gear score level in order to do this raid, and even you don't have a activities. Yeah. It's just like, Then if I didn't get lucky with RNG and didn't drop the legendary exotic super gun, then I can't play with you. It's just like, what is happening?
Exactly. From my understanding, there's going to be farming. Like, there's different tiers. So each tier is going to have gun availability. Bosses are going to have, you're going to be able to farm for what you need in a way.
And what the version
they
I
look
played,
fucking awesome. They look metal as fuck.
Yeah, everything looks organic. Like the guns all look mutated and stuff.
Super
like what do they call it? The corruption
or
something? The version I played, and I'm not sure if it still exists, had a thing called like world level, where you could basically turn up the difficulty and it would give you more experience and better guns.
It's going to be tiered. Like you have to get past one tier and then you'll unlock the next one.
The Division does that too. They have world tier levels. They have the Dark Zone, but they also have world tier levels on the PvE side. So they even did that with the first game in New York. You could be on world tier 1 or 2. But once you complete the game and you hit max level, then they introduce the world tiers. And it's like, if you have to go up a higher world tier to get better gear to basically make your agent, stronger, better guns, stuff like that. So
I feel that's
the way to progress stuff like that.
Some good stuff from so many different shooters that we're at right now. And shooter looters are like evolving on their own. I feel like it's like a new almost genre like RPGs where people are like, they're always constantly comparing it, like, oh well, is it Anthem, is it Destiny, because like we're just grouping these into like their own.
Is it Borderlands?
Hopefully
right. Is this going to be the new Destiny killer? Like, you're just like, dude, just calm down. Like, just fucking calm down.
Nothing needs to be a Destiny killer. Let Destiny be Destiny. I think the problem with a lot of these looters is they're trying to emulate things that other looters do when they should be in their own lane. Because if I wanted to play Destiny, I would just go play Destiny, and that's your game.
Man.
So this is like not a Destiny-ish type game. Then it sounds like it's not a where like you guys said, like where if you don't play for a week, you're kind of like,
no, it shouldn't be like that. Like, I mean, your friends, if they're sitting there and they're grinding, of course you'll be able to go down. But there's also they're also gonna have like where it's gonna tier down to them. You guys, they can join you on a different world tier, stuff like that. So. I mean, for me, I'm not getting total Destiny vibes. I've heard it being compared more to like Diablo in a way.
Okay.
I'm a huge Diablo fan. Yes. I love to hear that.
So I can see that, and they're gonna have like monster hunts, like you'll pick up a bounty and go kill a monster, and then you have a chance of getting like a super fucking rad gun from that, like almost like a raid, but not a raid. I don't know. It looks fantastic to me. I think
what's the release date, lady?
Much. February 2nd. I honestly think that it might get pushed back though. Like I'm waiting for it. I'm just like on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, that seems too good to be true.
Square to say,
because
it was supposed to come out in December. Like that was we didn't have a straight date for it, but it was holiday 2020. So you assume December.
Yeah.
And then they said February when they actually gave us the release date. Like, and it was I was waiting like September, November. I'm like, all right, so when are we gonna find out when you're gonna give it to us? Because holiday is here.
Yeah.
We don't have a release date yet.
Mooch,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what was
Go ahead, lady. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just it looks fantastic, and the way that they've done it as on a marketing level, like it's kind of under the radar, but I'm loving like they were doing like these monthly broadcasts where they tell you more about the game. They went into each one of the ability kind of the classes that you could choose, because they do have that like Destiny kind of class. You have like a trickster, which is kind of almost like a hunter, like you're more roguish type of player. You have like kind of a pyromancer, which is like fire, and devastator, which is more of your tank character. You got to be up close. And then they actually have a fourth character called the technomancer, which is like guns and stuff. Like it's the only one where you'll be able to use a rocket launcher and a machine gun and stuff like that. And
it's it's interesting because I never would until I think it was you, lady, who
Sounds
just said
interesting.
it. I never would have put the
last
correlation of the two together, but in a very odd way, it does give me vibes of Diablo, where you're that class and you develop that class to be greater, and you can still be different classes in other playthroughs and enhance them. And it's a single playthrough,
slots,
right?
6 character slots. You can pick, you
That's
can
a
make up
lot.
to 6 characters, but there's only four things, and your skill trees you can change on the fly. You can totally reset anytime you want. And just respec based on who you're playing with. Your buddy has this, and this, and there's hundreds and hundreds of mods. Like many mods.
I got the time slowdown. I was doing the time slowdown bubble as a trickster, and my buddy was being the he had the rock bullet ability from the Devastator. So we kept basically I would group a bunch of people up, I'd draw them in, and then I'd basically stop time and step outside the bubble, and he'd walk in and just explode rock grenades like grip style and just absolutely rock them. It's
great playing with people. I cannot wait to play like the co-op on that, and that's actually talking of that's my most anticipated game that's coming out this year. And it's I've been anticipating it for a while. I'm down, but I'll probably and another thing, it's completely crossplay. So
nice.
Cool. Okay. Like they came out swinging, and they're giving us PC, PlayStation, everything.
Music to Brap
Stadia even. So
nice.
Speaking of Brap, shout out to Optimus Code, who's in the chat. Code, thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. He says, tell Brap to share the tacos. So Brap,
I am a taco fan. I don't know. I'm I'm Southwest over here in Arizona, so I'm a snob.
Shout out to Code. By the way, it's developers People Can Fly. They used to be part of Epic Games. Yeah, they made Gears of War Judgment.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people say they have some Gear vibes. Like, I mean, they're getting,
did Bulletstorm as well.
I feel it. Like, so I can definitely see that. Well, I think it's going to be great. It has the ability to be great. I hope it's not an Anthem. I'm just like,
I don't feel that'll be the case, especially because it's not a game that is open. You know what I mean? It's not that massive, right? Exactly. I think it's going to be something where it's controlled. It's you play the game, you play through it, and much like a Diablo, you play through it, and then you're done. And then you start over again as another character, or go back through and play in like a new game plus and better enhance the one like the Pyromancer or whoever you prefer to be.
Yep.
So that's intriguing.
If it ends up like a Diablo, that's definitely not a negative.
Oh my God, no! I love it, and it's
not a negative. Oh yeah,
it's crazy because DC literally. So DC, you one of your videos as well. You've said that you're playing through Diablo and you're trying to get the platinum trophy. So I know you're going through that right now, but I guess I'm going to go ahead and be good here and let DC give his 2021 game, because I happen to spoiler. I know what his 2021 game is that he's looking forward to the most. I believe, anyways, I know. And it happens to be one that I'm also looking forward to. But DC, what is your 2021 game that you're most anticipating, short of course, delays and all the other nonsense?
I mean, I'll say I filmed that video like 5 days ago. I've made like 10 videos since then.
I know you have.
I said Final Fantasy 16, right? That's what I said.
I thought you said Resident Evil 8.
Resident Evil 8's a big one too. Yeah. Resident Evil 8 and Final Fantasy 16 are huge. The reason I'm probably more excited for Resident Evil 8...
That's coming out this year, Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah.
The developers have been doing a lot of talk that makes it sound like it is very close to completed. But as anybody who actually talks to developers, done and feature complete doesn't mean close to release. But it seems like it might be coming out late 2021. So I'm excited for it. But yeah, Resident Evil 8, the leaked rumors that it's coming out April. Sounds like we're going to get a big demo for Resident Evil 8. It seems so good, man. Every time I run through Resident Evil 7 again, I realize how smart of a choice it was to make the series first person.
Yes, thank you.
Now that we're going to be fighting, like having shotguns in tiny Eastern Europe tunnels and fighting off werewolves, like it looks like this is just a new age of Resident Evil. I still cannot believe they managed to reinvent this franchise, but I am so ready for it, especially because one of the leaks has said that there's a huge multiplayer mode, that when you buy this, it's going to have a gigantic, totally separate, super cool, like leveling system and like weekly bonuses, which we've all mentioned we absolutely love and don't definitely despise. So I'm going to play a bunch of online, I guess, with RE8.
No, I'm right there in that same camp. I want to hear Hustle, what is your most anticipated 2021 game? I do have to hear because there is a long list, and I know again, these are, we've heard Sony come out with quite a list of games for 2021. I do believe a lot of them, or I shouldn't say a lot, but some of them will be delayed, and rightfully so. If they need time, let them have their time. But what are you looking forward to, Hustle, as far as your most anticipated for next year, if it comes out on time?
Okay, assuming it comes out on time. I know Slomo had mentioned it, but Kenna. That one looks pretty special to me. That joint super slept on. I think it's going. I think it's going to impress a lot of people. Aerial Knights Never Yield. For those of you all who do not know, Aerial Knight was on the Iron Lords podcast, I guess sometime midsummer, and he is a young black developer making his own game. It's an endless runner. Actually, what attracted me to that, because I saw that interview that he did with the Iron Lords, is actually the music. I've never played an endless runner before, and that's it's scheduled to drop like first quarter of 2021, so that should be on its way. And Ratchet and Clank, which is probably the reason what really made me buy a PS5, because when they showed it and how seamless everything was, I'm really looking forward to that as well. I was going to mention God of War, but I don't think God of War is even coming out this year. We being real, I think. Yeah, I doubt if that comes out, because there's no way they release that game, and they also released
tentatives for this year that.
Yep. And I think Horizon Zero Dawn 2 was going to come out first. Now that one.
I have an idea. I do think God of War is going to come out this year, but I think God of War in scope is going to be more like how Spider-Man Miles Morales was. I don't think it's going to be, considering how this is coming out 3 years after the release of God of War 2018.
Yeah.
And if you think about how long they spent like 5-6 years making God of War. And for them to come out with another one 3 years later, I'm thinking it's got to be a shorter game, smaller scope, but definitely tackling all the events that happened at the end of God of War and really kind of like finishing up that story arc there and then moving on to something a little bit fresher. Maybe they have a smaller team working on it while a bigger team is working on the true sequel to God of War 2018. But I just feel like it's a smaller experience.
Well, if that's the case, then okay. Then I will say God of War. If that is the case, to where it comes out like Miles Morales did this year, I will look forward to that one in particular. I'm actually starting to play through of God of War 2018 on Monday, so y'all can look forward to that too.
That's a great game. Shout out to the great Sin Vendetta. He says, "I'll say Elden Ring just because I want to know if that game even exists."
Oh man,
it's having some issues.
Have you really, Brad?
Yeah. We had I think I can say this live. We had Al on, a Drunk Cat. He was talking about it. I think did he say this live? I don't remember. Al, if you're listening, I don't mean to get you in trouble, but he was saying there were some issues behind the scenes with that game.
Oh,
yeah. So he didn't get into specifics, but just heard some things.
The entire Souls community is literally just starving at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because say again, lady.
I said just chomping at the bit. They're just waiting.
They really are, because lady, the thing is, I personally truly
Souls.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like they want something like they want to have this next like iteration in the Souls family. Like Sekiro came out Xbox, and I think Sekiro was, and Brap will tell you, it's a great game. I love it myself. But there's a clear line where it separates itself from the Souls family. Would you not say, Brad?
Absolutely does. No, it absolutely does. It actually forces you to engage in combat. Where in Souls, you can actually, Souls, you could back up and kind of take your time a little bit. And in Sekiro, you can't do that. Like you'll get punished for doing that because there's something called the it's not the stamina bar. What is it? The I can't remember the name of it now. Where you can like land death blows on enemies. The stagger, yeah, but what's the bar called though, Dreamcast guy? I forget.
Oh God, I should know this.
Yeah, it's called. It begins with the letter P, I think.
Posture bar.
Posture. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, posture. Thank you.
Hustle.
Look at that. Hustle, right?
Out of nowhere.
Thank you, Hustle.
Nice hustle.
Yeah, the posture, it forces you to engage in combat. You want to get that posture so you can land death blows, and that's where it really kind of it forces you to engage in combat. Where Souls, like, I played Demon Souls, like, if I was getting hit too much, I just kind of stand back, kind of regroup, kind of think about my next plan of attack. You can't do that in Sekiro.
Right. No, I do agree with that. Xbot, I got
Enrique was thinking about running away.
Should we? Do we even need to ask Xbot 448 what his most anticipated 2021 game is? Xbot, if you say anything other than that 4-letter word, people will be concerned for you.
Oh.
Brother, you told me I can't say 4-letter words on your channel.
Is it grip?
You can when they start with an H, I think.
It's grip with 2 P's, by the way. 2 P's.
Oh, grip.
It's grip with 2 P's.
Grip.
It's for that extra grip.
Grip.
Guys, of course it's going to be Halo Infinite, man. And especially after seeing kind of like the multiplayer models that they showed, the screenshots of the multiplayer models and stuff like that. A lot of people, when they saw the gameplay, for the story, and they saw, Craig, and they saw the elites, and kind of like the lack of detail within the enemies, people were like, yo, what the hell is going on? You look at the screenshots of the multiplayer, though, it's like absolute night and day. And to have this, for people who don't know, Halo 5 multiplayer, I went in and I earned every single thing that you can earn in that game. I did not spend a dime on rec packs. I earned them all playing the game. And to know that they're going to have this kind of like continuous support for the multiplayer for Halo Infinite, it has me crazy excited. I cannot wait for that game. And I will say, I'm going to throw out an honorable mention here because this wasn't announced, but I predicted this on Twitter. I forgot if it was this morning or yesterday. I'm predicting that Forza Motorsport is coming out in 2021, by the way. Okay. And if that does that, Forza Motorsport, man, I have been dying for a new motorsport. And dude, I will be the first person in line, of course, to download it via Game Pass. Mm-hmm. But I'll be the first person in line to download it, man, because I cannot wait for a new motorsport, bro.
I think that we've heard rumors about a Forza, but I thought the rumors that were persisting were Forza Horizon 5 possibly coming out.
Yeah,
but
those are the rumors. But you know me, man. I go against trends. Like
that's fine. I like the way you think. Shout out to the great Marty Bison. He says, "Happy New Year's to my favorite podcast. I just bought me those PS Pulse 3D headphones. Those are fantastic, Marty. Nice. And now we got to get Marty a PS5. He's got all the accessories. He needs a PS5. So." Anyone who knows where they can get one, DM me on Twitter so I can let the great Marty Bison know. Shout out to Marty. Thank you for that super chat. And guys, I like I said, we usually don't do roundtable discussions here. We just went around real quick. I do have a topic that I want to bring up, and I'm going to start with, believe it or not. Wait, what do we got? Was that?
Let me get my video games 2021 real quick.
Prep, let's go. Go ahead.
All right. So I got a little bit of a long list. I got Horizon Forbidden West, Resident Evil 8,
yes,
Deathloop.
One.
Yeah,
no, but I got a bunch.
What's the most?
Got the one.
One.
The most.
I can only pick one.
Yeah.
That's why it's the most.
Oh God, I can't do that. It's
not the many.
There's just too many. I can't.
Skip them, bro.
I can't. Just skip me because I really can't. I mean,
Perhaps the entire list of games that he read off from the Game Awards that are coming out. We got 3 hours.
Look, there's just so many great games. I mean, look, I don't know. I'll throw Horizon Forbidden West in there then.
Good choice.
Absolutely, it's a great choice. Great choice.
But I got a long list, Mooch. Like, it's long.
Oh well, buddy, it is what it is.
Enrique said the medium. That's his most.
I think he might. That one might have not made the list.
Did not make the list.
I can't wait for that to release.
Psychonauts 2's on the list though.
I'm excited to try the medium, but I wouldn't say that it's going to be it may not be a go-to game, but I am excited to check it out and see how
Game Pass, brother. It's great.
Of course it's great. Of course it's great. You can't say Game Pass without great. I'm shocked that's not patented by Xbox. Game Pass, great. Like, if you don't say great following Game Pass, you're in a lot of trouble, Xbox. You know that.
No, I know.
Right? You can't not say that. Yeah, it's all right. It is what it is. So listen, this is a big thing. This was something that came out within the last few days, and I know a lot of YouTubers really took to this news, And you know, it's funny. So I'm going to start with Hustle and Motivate. And Hustle, I know you got to go soon, but Hustle, I got to ask you to comment because you did a live video response to the whole, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Ninja was playing a ranked match. And pardon me, I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the entire, but he was playing a ranked match and he was playing with somebody. And apparently the person that was playing with him didn't really play to the level or standards of what Ninja thinks a ranked match member should play and contribute to the team. Hustle, you disagreed with Ninja going off with that going off on that individual. What was your take on it? Why did you kind of go against Ninja here, where I've seen other people defending Ninja in this case?
Yeah, I won't defend Ninja for this reason and this reason alone. I'm 35 years old. For the people who may not know, I grew up in a different era. To where if you did certain things, and I want to be careful because I'm on your platform. If you did certain things or if you acted a certain way, other things may have happened as a result of that. So Ninja could say whatever he'd like to say.
Right.
The dude was playing pretty bad, right? And it's okay for Ninja to say that, but like for him to get into a back and forth, and he's also a public figure. Like sometimes you got to let certain things go. I understand that you get into a mode to where you're competing. You're in ranked for a reason. Right. Like I get it. I hop in gears ranked all the time, right? Like I understand it. Like I definitely get it. But like Ninja's a public figure, like he has way more to lose, and he's going through it now. Like a lot of people like are not with him on this current situation. It's not just me. There's a lot of people who falling back from him, and like, but you see what happens from that quick little heated exchange from a person who has nothing to gain, absolutely nothing to gain, just because he's bad at the game, and they went back and forth with Ninja, and now Ninja's on the receiving end. He can possibly lose endorsements behind like a quick little rank match. Like, do y'all understand like the ramifications of that?
Look,
I don't.
Hold on, I'm not saying he is.
No.
I'm saying,
I see your point. I see the point. The point.
Like, you can lose so much behind somebody who's, first of all, if you bad at the game, all right, cool. It's cool to say that you bad at the game, but would you say that to that person in person? Would you say it to this young man in person? I doubt it very seriously.
Maybe I didn't absorb the clip in the same way you did, but I felt like he just basically said the guy sucked. He didn't say like, man, I sure hope you get spanked in public or anything. He just said, man, you're bad and I want you to feel bad.
With Dreamcast guy, hold on. It was the one thing that Ninja said during that clip that bothered me was like, oh, you're not taking this serious. What do you take serious in life? And as a public figure, I feel like you shouldn't say that. And I didn't articulate that in the little Twitter video I put up.
I saw, by the way. I think you phrased yourself well. I disagree, like, with your sentiment a little bit, but I think you phrased your point well. So I totally think like you're correct in your thinking.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, because I didn't mention it. And I was like, I didn't know if people like took it away because a lot of people disagree with me in that thread, and that's okay. I'm here for that discourse, and that's cool. But man, he stands to lose so much behind something that's so small. Valorant will be dead in about like 6 months. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. The thing you've brought up that I did not consider is just the power of a public figure. I feel like in a vacuum, I think nothing he said was incorrect. I think it's totally fine. It's totally normal, just baseline trash talk. But you're right of like, hello, I'm a cover of ESPN magazine, professional gamer Ninja. Hello, here's all my Red Bull merch. Now I'm gonna totally shit all over the 17-year-old kid who missed a headshot. Right. Like, yeah, you're right. That's not an appropriate equivalent exchange.
And hold on, before anybody else goes, for the record, I definitely get like that with people. Listen, now I get like that. I definitely do, and with like I can accept the fact that I get like that. Ninja, he wasn't wrong for what he said, but it was like, yo, when you're on that level, like I look at the DC, I look at you on a certain level. Like there's a lot of things that you probably shouldn't say that I can get away with that you probably can't, that it might not be in your best interest to get away with. And I guess, just by being as big as they are, or big as Ninja is, like he shouldn't even be rocking like that. That's probably what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think, and that's what the interesting point is. I think Hustle made a good point to put that in perspective. What and who Ninja is, right? He's not just Ninja anymore. Now he's a brand. And there's a lot of money behind that brand. So that part I get. But taking it back down to a gamer's perspective, just on a day-to-day, we all play ranked matches online. You hear that all the time. It's like, what? Get good, right? People just yelling at you. So as from the gamer perspective, I think a lot of gamers were taking Ninja's side on that. I think when it comes down to morally and business ethics, if you will, he probably was in the wrong. It depends on the discussion at hand.
Yeah, I think it's actually, I thought what Hustle said was a great point about his celebrity status, if you will.
Yeah,
like I didn't even really think about that per se when I was thinking about whether or not he was toxic. I don't think I don't think this was toxic per se. I do think though that he may have to be a little bit careful because he's more in the public eye than maybe someone like me who might be playing this game, and I might get into some trash talking with a teammate. But I also want to make something a point up. The 17-year-old that he's having this disagreement or this back and forth with actually started bashing Ninja's play style.
He did.
And that's when things started escalating. So it's like, like Ninja to an extent, it's kind of like, and the guy's super competitive. We know that. And online multi, like he said that. And if you've ever been, like I used to run with Xbox Live Clans on the OG Xbox, the Xbox 360, and I was sharing this story with the Brap guys on this week's Brap, where I was part of a clan, and like I had to try out for the clan. And like we used to literally, people joined us and they were playing, like even if we weren't playing competitively and they sucked, we would just boot them out of a match.
Yeah, like
no warning, nothing. And there were times where things got heated, like we would trash talk to each other if we felt like a player wasn't pulling their weight, or before there used to be like these chat lobbies before games start, where you could actually talk to the other team, and you can imagine what kind of trash talking happened there. But this wasn't toxic. I don't think like he was, I don't think he took it to a point where like it's like, wow, this is really toxic and Ninja's really bullying this guy. He said some terrible things. He said he wished his mom died or something like that. Like that, it wasn't anything like that. To me, this was competitive trash talking. But I think to what Hustle said, like Ninja may need to be careful because he is in the public eye. Like I could probably say some stuff that maybe Dreamcast guy can't say, because I don't have that following. But he might need to be careful because this isn't the first time where we've seen articles and tweets about Toxic Ninja. I mean, you saw it when this happened. Toxic Ninja at it again. Although, again, I don't agree that context of the conversation was toxic. But I do think this could potentially, if he's not careful, I don't know if it's going to hurt endorsements. But
no, probably not. Probably not.
I had this video saved. There was a point at one point someone made a compilation called "Truly Toxic Ninja," and for some reason, whatever company that represents Ninja was deleting it off the internet. So I saved it for some reason, but it's really funny, and it's just him screaming at kids and like his H1Z1 days and stuff. So I was like, "Can I pick up that gun?" And he'd be like, "Can you pick up the gun? I don't know. We have to do it." Like just like real toxic, like, way worse than current Ninja, but he also was probably streaming at 20 people at that time.
Wow.
Right, very true. Slow-mo, what's your take on this? Because I know when it comes to this kind of like public debate, you're always very, very opinionistic, and I love to get your take on it.
Okay, so I didn't watch the clip. I've heard about it. I actually tried to find it, and for some reason I just can't find it. Regardless of that, here are the questions I have. Did he get personal with this kid in any way? Did he say anything about his mom?
No.
Did he say anything about his mom should have swallowed him?
No.
Wow,
really? Really?
Anything like that? Because look, if you want to talk toxic, I've seen some stuff. I've heard some things that's just like, wow, did you really go there? Like, and if it was all strictly on this dude sucks at this game. Like you're trash at this game,
right?
That's really about it.
Fucking trash talk. That's what it was.
I'm like, I don't see what the big deal is.
I think part of it was that it did have an air of genuine anger. He only talked about the guy's gameplay, but it was like a serious, like, why are you even playing this game? And it did feel,
it in his face.
Yeah, it was more aggressive than a typical, oh, buddy, maybe you should play better. Instead, it was more of a delete it off your fucking console.
Well, you made him sound like Batman.
Where is he? I'm still good with it, especially if you're playing ranked. Look, in the games that I play that are ranked, and I don't know if Valorant. I think they were playing Valorant,
they're
right?
Playing
That's
Valorant,
what I heard.
yeah, they're playing
I don't know
Valorant.
how Valorant ranked the system works, but like say I play Road Company, and Road Company ranked. I could be, outplay literally everyone in the entire match. But if my team sucks and I lose rank. It doesn't matter how good I played. I still lose rank.
Right.
So you need to make sure that you go in with people that are good. Now, let's say you got 3 people or 4, and then like your 5th is this random kid who someone vouched for and said, hey, he's good. He's not going to be the weakest link. and then you get in the match and he's the weakest link, and you're like, I'm about to lose rank over this kid. I get it. Like in the moment, especially if he's talking trash about you, he don't know how to play the game, but he's telling you that your play style sucks. I get it. In the moment, he just goes off and is like, you know what? Delete the game. Delete your console. Somebody come come in your house, take your console, throw it out the window. You can't play games no more. I get that kind of sentiment.
You know what really just real quick, Slomo, you know what really set Ninja off was when the guy started talking about his wealth.
His money, that was
right. What does that have to do with anything? So like
he brought up Ninja's wealth, but Ninja went like that's what Ninja was like. What? Shut the fuck up! You know, just like went like really laid into him after like when he brought up his money.
Right.
I don't know why I made Ninja
guy went personal. He could have been like, well, little Jeremy, who don't have a job and your parents are about to get divorced and your life sucks. Like he didn't go in on them like that, you know. He just said you're bad at this game, but this dude's all like going in on his wealth. It's crazy.
I was playing World of Warcraft the other day, and I was doing there's like a competitive PvP event, and I'm out there playing Capture the Flag, and I totally messed up, dropped the flag, looked like a total idiot, and this guy messaged me and said, "Do your family a favor, fill your pockets with rocks and take a long swim." And I was like, Jesus Christ.
That's toxic.
I mean, toxic. I had a guy get mad at me at playing a Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer, like when that first came out. Like he started messaging me and like I forget what he was saying, but like I could see like people like are super competitive. I get that, but I think that I think part of the optics of this too is that Ninja does have a history of, like, I think you brought it up, Dreamcast guy, like when he used to play like PUBG, like he would say some pretty like obscene shit to people and make like gestures to them on camera. You know, he toned that down a lot, you know, after I think he blew up with Fortnite. But I think maybe that's where some of this is coming to, how he used to behave before he got really big. You know, and people are like, oh, he's at it again. You know, maybe he's toned it down, but he's at it again. It's the Ninja we know from, you know, 2017 or whatever the case is.
Right. But that's the Ninja.
Trying to find the video today, you could just like, because I don't really fucking follow Ninja. I could care fucking.
Oh, lady, I'm right there with you. I don't either.
I don't follow him either.
Like,
I was trying to find the video, and it's just I'm like, oh well, like there's multiple just Ninja raging videos. I'm like, I couldn't find it. Ask how to send me the link. I'm like, oh.
Exactly what I was looking for. I kept finding old stuff, like old rants.
I mean, old shit. Among Us stuff. I'm like, why is he raging in Among Us?
Yeah.
Don't you know how to be the imposter? What the hell?
I didn't do it.
Just install the game.
I've had to hold my own, you know, being a female in gaming. Like you have to kind of be able to take it and dish it back and not turn into like some like pussyfoot little girl, like when it's coming at you. Like, so I can hold my own, and I know trash talk, and I just feel like it wasn't horrible. Like you said, he wasn't like, oh my God, please go kill yourself. Go, you know, fucking get, you know, never mind. I was
he wasn't questioning anyone's self-worth. He wasn't telling anyone to go kill themselves. He wasn't getting racial or sexist or
wasn't threatening
or anything. He wasn't like, that's toxic stuff.
He wasn't threatening physical harm or anything like that on someone.
Exactly. It wasn't
like, I definitely think that as a public figure, you have to be able to control yourself. Especially when you're streaming and you have thousands of people in your chat, and you know these are things that you kind of have to think about.
Well, you know, too, lady, E. Murray said it here in the chat. Shout out to E. Murray. He says it's done in the NBA, the NFL, soccer, etc. He says people have gotten way too sensitive. The one thing where he's kind of right, you guys know on Sundays sometimes on the NFL they'll kind of mic the players. I mean, you'll hear all that cursing that's going on down there. And if there's ever a head-to-head battle, oh man, it gets right. It can get. But guess what? But that's two competitive people, right? And they want to win. And I think that's the thing we have to understand is we're watching people. When I say we, I'm talking about the gaming community watches the Ninjas and the Nick Mercs and the Doc Disrespects. These guys are competitors, man, and they do make a living off of it too. So, like, in all honesty, you're going to catch their raw emotion when something like that happens. It's just like when you put a microphone on a sports athlete, on whether it be the court or be on the field.
Michael Jordan.
But yeah, you're gonna catch that emotion. And I got news for you. Sometimes the language isn't what we all condone to be like perfect language. It's not. You're catching people in the heat of the moment. So that was kind of how I look at it. It's like, yeah, you know, the thing is with ranked match, you are getting the entire public, right? Anybody can just join that, right? Tell me if I'm wrong if they can't, but I believe anyone can, right? So you do have to understand that that's something that Ninja needs to take into consideration. But the minute you look at all the people playing in your lobby and you see a Ninja or a Doc Disrespect or you see Nick Mercs, be ready and be prepared to either play your best or just politely leave. You know what I mean? Because it's going to get nasty in there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go play a pickup game with the Knicks, right? I mean, I'm going to get destroyed. You know? Like, Mooch, you got a hell of a three-pointer, man, but get the hell off the court.
Yeah, you know, Mooch, there's something to be said for that, man. Like, I like when in my clan, we had some guys that were really, really fucking competitive. Like, these guys were like playing, you know, 10, 12 hours a day. And you got into a match with them. If you weren't playing well, they would let you know. Yeah. And it wasn't like, hey, man, you might want to try this, or you might want to step up your game. It was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Stuff like that. Like, it was serious because they wanted to win so bad. That's go ahead.
I talk to some big streamers occasionally, like off camera, and one of the things they talk about is the stress of, they're like, okay, I have to constantly perform my very best in games, because if I'm doing badly, the view count goes down. If the view count goes down, that literally means I'm making less money. If the view count stays down because I've had a bunch of bad matches, then that also means maybe whatever reason my integration numbers are going to be lower. So my next time of renegotiating sponsorship contracts are going to be lower. So they have told me, like, bro, if I have like 5 bad matches in a row and I spend like 2 hours just sucking in the game, that can cost me thousands of dollars. And it's like, and that does stress them out. It's like, it's not just about the moment to moment mistakes. It's not just when I completely drop the ball. They're like, it is that type of thing of like, there is a meta game of business to every freaking match that they consider that we don't, because to us, it's LOL, I missed that headshot. Guess I'm going to fucking corpse camp myself. I don't know.
And then they're constantly being stream sniped. You know, people are like seeing that they're online. They're going after them, trying to be the one. Hey, look, so they can on their struggling YouTube channel do a like, look at this video of me destroying Ninja. You know,
I'm in a relatively well-known Destiny clan. Like, in the Destiny community, it's a well-known clan. It's got some big Destiny streamers in the clan, and when you're playing online and you're playing in those matches, and I'm not, you know, god tier at all when it comes to it. Sometimes I fucking straight up suck. And then you get messages like, how the fuck are you even in that clan? Like, why did they let you in that clan? Like, you suck. You know, it's just like, they see the name, they see the tag, and you're automatically like targeted in a way, like, because of, you know, your association. So it's crazy. It's intense to think about it that way. So when you see Ninja, of course, like, I mean, any player, if I went into a game and I saw, like, you know, it was Ninja, I'd probably try my best to fucking kill him a lot.
True.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, you do have a target on your back. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, like, there was a time when Warzone first came out, and I'm just saying, like, I watched a lot of, like, Nick Mercs, and Nick was getting, like, I mean, he was, I mean, I'm not going to say averaging, because that's not true, but he was getting a lot of matches where he was getting 24 to 27 kills. And one of his, like hurdles he was trying to jump over was to get a 30 kill match. And that was only an elite status of a few got that. And he was aiming for that. But like I say, when you see him in your lobby, you even saw people that like died from oh my God, they died by Nick Mercs. Oh my God. Like, it's a thing. So these guys are just uber competitive, and they're constantly got a bullseye on them during the game. They are always the one that's targeted. When you see them in your lobby, you know you're going after them. It's crazy. So it's funny when I first saw it, and that's why I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad Hustle brought up what he brought up, because realistically, when I first saw it, I thought a lot like DC was saying. I thought what Lady was saying is true. Like, where I'm like, that seemed like pretty meh, you know, just back and forth. It didn't seem like it was that bad. But when you do put it on a grand scale, that he is a brand now, right? I mean, Adidas backed him up. Microsoft for a period of time gave him a lot of money. He was going to represent, you know, what was going to be Mixer. You know, he's got brand, right? He's gonna right. He's gonna have a representation behind him. So. Last thing before we go, I know it's 9 o'clock. I'm just gonna give the floor to Slow-Mo for 2 seconds. Slow-Mo, so Phil Spencer had another.
That reaction says it all.
Phil Spencer had another interview, and he's
3 to 10 years.
He's incredibly excited about the games coming 3 to 10 years from now. And listen, by the way, don't take that top level. Xbot has made it very clear, and he's right. There are parts of the interview where he describes the next 12, 24, and 36 months before he gets into the 3 to 10. But Slow-Mo, we've talked about this on this show, okay? And you've been a guest on this show, and we've talked about this enough. If I'm Phil or if I was Phil's PR, wouldn't you say, Phil, let's just wait till the games come out and then do more of this talk? What's your take on it?
What is there to talk about?
Right.
He's doing an interview on a monthly basis. And then he even and sometimes says, hey, no, hold on, Xbox.
Oh, no, Xbox, I'll give you the floor in a second. I will.
Hold that defense. There are times where he's like, oh, kind of tired of answering that question. Well, maybe if you didn't do 30 interviews in the first week of the launch of the console, then you wouldn't get repeat questions from people. You don't have a lot of games first party to coming out. And it's just until you drop something for real, like you can just not do an interview. It's not that hard just to say, hey, I'm busy working on making games, or or putting together more stuff to come into Game Pass. Anything beyond going back and answering the same questions. And then he's really good at answering questions, I'll give him that. But then sometimes, and we're all human, he'll say something that he may not quite have meant it to come out the way it did, and then it becomes a talking point for 2 weeks, and then there's a misconception now. Oh, now we're not really doing that. Oh, we're not really doing this, and it's just like, what, this wouldn't even be happening if you just kind of just didn't do so many interviews all the time.
All right. Maybe as many interviews, I'll give you that one. But this interview, they have done it for 3 years in a row. It's the end of the year. He gets on Larry Herb's show, and they talk about what happened within that year. They've done it. He has
done so many interviews that Larry Herb could have took a compilation of all the interviews he's done since November and just asked questions and got the answer already. I mean, he literally, come on.
Yeah, that's the thing in Xbox. You're right. If you do listen to the whole interview, and I listened to some of it, I did check everything out. And yes, there are things he talked about in the 12, 24, and 36 month. But the fact that this is the quote that the media ran with is incredibly excited about 3 to 10 years. And the biggest gripe right now that Xbox has is no new AAA games for so long. There's been a drought, and then we're still waiting for the future, right? And then it comes out again, and boom. So real quick, I do want to give a quick shout out to the Ash and Luca. She says, Thought Mo on another show. Hey, boo, my Italian M&M. By the way, guys, I will be on Scumcast tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. So do check out the Ash and Lucas channel.
All right, here we go.
That's going to be a great show, man. Very excited.
That's some fun.
Very excited for that. Very, very Scumcast, very similar to CrossFire, where just everything goes, and I love it. So shout out to Luca. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to get me and Slow-Mo and Xbot were having a great little conversation there before the show, so I thought we'd do that just throw that little nugget out there. I do agree with Slow-Mo a little bit more. Xbot, you make good points, but I think at this point, if I'm Phil, he knows the position he's in. He knows how he's going to be kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, no matter how he answers it, right? I mean, Brap, did you want to comment on it?
But you also
Xbox,
real quick, you don't want to shell up either. Like, I understand what Slow-Mo is saying. Like, every time you turn around, it just seems like Phil is talking to another person. And the funny thing is, like, he is so ingrained in the gaming community that whether you play on Xbox, whether you love Xbox, or whether you hate Xbox, as soon as Phil is talking to somebody, you're watching that interview,
right?
Either to pick it apart piece by piece, or to get something about what's coming into the future and stuff like that. And then when it comes to the whole 3 to 10 year thing, a couple years back, there was a whole rumor how Xbox might be going away. You know what I'm saying? How they might be spinning it off and stuff like that. So to hear him talk about he's excited for what's coming within 3 and then within 10 years. If you're an Xbox fan, you're like, all right, awesome. They have solidified. Microsoft is all in on gaming, and they're moving forward. They even have
that is a great look at it, Xbot. And I mean, I know we joke about it, but you really did take that, and that's a good point. Before this generation or last generation began, or as we were just approaching it, there was a lot of talk about Microsoft selling off the Xbox line, right? And so when you do hear the Xbox boss come out and say, this is, I'm very excited for things coming in 3 to 10 years, it does solidify the brand with Microsoft. You know, that's probably nothing is ever definite, but probably not going anywhere anytime soon. Brap, did you want to?
I guess I don't understand why he needs to talk. Like, we don't get these end of the year shows with Nintendo and Sony. You know what the Nintendo and Sony do? They let the games do the talking.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice that like Phil Spencer's involved in the community. Frankly, me personally, my opinion, like, I don't care. That's not important to me. Like people are like, oh, he's so great. He's in the community. He tweets people. That's great. But I don't play the Phil Spencer game. I play video games.
Right.
And let the game, like, Xbox needs to get to the point, and they used to do this on the OG Xbox, the Xbox 360. Let the games do the talking.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it.
And what else is he supposed to say? I'm excited.
Yeah, what can he say?
Excited. I'm excited for what's coming in 3 to.
Well, no shit, right?
It's your stuff.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to say you're a salesman. You're trying to sell me on your platform. Of course you're going to say you're excited for what's coming out.
He's answering his shareholders.
I mean, what if he did that? Well, you know, like, I'm kind of lukewarm on our catalog coming in the future.
I'm kind of mild on the 5 to 7 year. After that it's looking a little better, but
hey, you know what? Hey, so glad we got Bethesda, because the rest of this stuff, oh boy, like he's not going to tell you something that isn't going to be super positive about his platform going forward. So really, did he really say anything here that was super informative?
No.
I'm excited for what we're making from 3 to 10 years from now. All right, cool.
And you know,
sure, Sony feels the same way for their stuff, and Nintendo and Ubisoft and Bethesda and everybody, and somehow even EA is excited for what they make in the future. But it's just like that's a non-starter. I just don't even understand how like this stuff becomes so big, and it's just like, oh no, Phil Spencer. And I'm just like, dude, stop talking. Just stop talking.
Just stop.
And you know the unfortunate part too, like what you're saying, Slomo, about him, like, saying he's excited. Halo Infinite comes out. If that game doesn't do well, everyone's going to go back to, well, Phil said he was incredibly excited about, the future of Xbox, and here we get, assuming Halo Infinite isn't good. I'm just throwing that out there. But that will be the reaction for people.
Yeah, why do you flip on the negative? Like, what if it does? What if it's absolutely amazing, bro? Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just throwing a scenario out. Like, I'm not saying that it's not going to be amazing. It could very well be amazing. It could very well be amazing. What I'm saying is, what ends up happening is this has been a pattern with them.
God of War sucks ass, dude.
But this is, but you know what? And if God of War sucks ass, people are going to call him out on it. But here's the thing.
Grip getting mad.
Yeah, Grip. I am Grip.
He's about to rip me in half.
I am Grip. You just said I am Grip.
I am Grip. I love it.
No, but what I'm saying though is that we have examples of this where they do this and they release a game and it's like, and it's like, that's why I bring up the Halo thing. I'm not saying that Halo's not going to be a good game. I hope it's a great game. I mean, Halo's iconic franchise. It better be good.
Absolutely. No, I think, and guys, we're well past, I kept everybody here well past 9 o'clock, and Hustle's got a show in 25 minutes. Guys, great discussion. Outstanding. I do agree with you. I do think that it is time for let the game start to do the talking for Xbox, like they did in the OG Xbox days in the 360. Let that era come back. I know a lot of the Xbox camp is really hoping that that's what those 23 acquired studios are going to bring. They're going to bring that dominance back. We'll find out. It's yet to be known. It's not like Xbox said, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be good or bad. I don't know. But I certainly know that Phil needs to stop going on all these shows and saying these things.
When the first party is scheduled to release, then they will let the games do the talking.
Well, until then, we're just going to hear.
Gotta be out there, man.
Well, until then, I guess we'll hear Phil say that he's excited for the new games. But it doesn't matter what any company you talk to is going to say they're excited for their new product coming out. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people like, I'm an Apple fan. I know a lot of people don't like Apple. But when
McDonald's looks excited for the McRib right now.
They are, and Tim Cook can't wait for you guys to try out the next 3 to 10 years worth of future Apple products, right? Like it's that's what I was saying. Shout out to E. Murray in the chat. He said, what's what he's supposed to say. I go, but the thing is, it ends up being a lot of nothing, and it falls on deaf ears because it just doesn't mean anything. Like the games are what have to be shown, not Phil just telling us he's been excited for these games since 2015. We're excited too. Let's see the games.
I think, and I'll just say this, and then we can move on. If instead of saying what he said, if he would have said, you know what, there's a particular game that we're working on, and I'm not going to name the studio, but it does this, and it's got this in it, and these kind of features. Then it's like, okay, all right, that's something new.
That's some game
that I didn't know before.
Yeah.
Right. And then now I'm interested in what that game may be in the future. But what he said was just basic stuff that he says all the time. I just don't see what the big deal is. But maybe that's just me.
Nope. Good point to wrap
You're
up.
so
right
negative, Slow-Mo.
Don't be negative. That being said, guys, outstanding. Listen, we are kicking off the new year the right way. Guys, please do hit that like button, hit that little thumb right there, hit that subscribe button. We broke the 10,000 mark in 2020, which is what I wanted to do. And the motivation and now that I have things fully working and going into 2021, I will have some videos. I said I was going to do it over the break, but I do plan on doing a few this upcoming week. I'm really, really excited to use this new equipment I got, and hopefully it provides a better experience for you guys. Please do consider joining the Mooch Maniac family. The join button is above the description. Let me go down this quick, amazing panel of guests so I can let them get back to their hangover medicine, a little hair of the dog, and drink a little bit more and enjoy their gaming. I'll go in reverse order and start with the one and only Dreamcast guy, DC. As usual, man, I don't even have to say this. Outstanding show. You just make the show that much better. Outstanding work as well. Thank you for keeping us all entertained, because a lot of people that I followed over the holiday, they took the holiday off, and rightfully so, but you decided to keep content coming. So, DC, let people know where they can find you, and thanks for being here tonight.
Just youtube.com/Dreamcast guy. Happy to be here as always. Been very fun. I appreciate you guys. I love the really informal style of this, where we just sit down and we talk. We're friends. It's not like there's a scripted schedule. So I really appreciate it as always, the invite.
Thank you, DC. I can't thank you enough for being on the show. Outstanding to have you here. And then I've got my lady friend here. Lady, outstanding to have you on the show. Absolutely killed it. I can't wait till you come back on the show. I will give you a little bit more notice than I did today, apparently. But nonetheless, outstanding. And let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at lady_AF. That's LAIDY_AF. And then every Wednesdays at, I think it's 8.
8 o'clock Eastern.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, 8 Eastern, Gaming Beyond the Box. You find me there. I just get drunk and yell at the guys. So that's just what I do. I don't know why they keep me around. I'm just there for the jokes. So
it's a great show. It really is.
It's a fun time. Yeah. It's a fucking fun time. I enjoy it. I love it. It's like this, just sit around, talk games. It's what I like to do. I'm just now getting into like the live YouTube podcast thing. So it's been nice. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Anytime, lady. We will have you back. And then I've got here, listen, I literally held him hostage. This is terrible. Hustle and Motivate, who literally is going to exit this show and then do a 3-hour stream. Shout out to Hustle and Motivate. Very good friend of mine, always talking behind the scenes, helping me out with a lot of my tech stuff. Hustle, let people know we can find you. And even more importantly, let them know where you're going right after this show.
Right after this show, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on twitch.tv/hustle and motivate. The same as my Twitch. Hey, support everybody here. Mooch, I know you said you're going to be on excuse me. Whoops. Ooh, somebody follow me just now. Okay, listen.
Nice.
Go ahead and support the Scumcast tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Luca, you have something very special going on over there. I am extremely proud of you, and I always will be. Y'all make sure y'all support DPS as well. Slow-Mo, Forte. Look, I don't know where I would be without y'all in terms of my thumbnail game. Look, Dreamcast guy, you keep up the great work, man. It's phenomenal as always. And look, to everybody, we support each other. The more we all grow, the more we all benefit from it, man. Right. We really have something to say. There's a reason why I'm always around, and I didn't want to like turn this into a certain thing, but support everybody, dog. Like, it's a simple like and a retweet. And I guarantee you, from Enrique to what they got going on at Brap to what everybody has going on, like, you're definitely going to find something that you like, man. And, just go watch your next favorite podcast. If y'all on Game Pass, look at your next favorite podcast. And I don't know who's following me, but thank you for all of these follows. I definitely appreciate y'all. I really mean that. Really mean that.
Can I say real quick? Support small freaking podcasts. Support small content creators. 100%. I would not be here today. When I was about 400 subscribers, this guy who edits music videos wrote me a big thing, and he said, "Dreamcast guy, you got the magic. Stick with this, and it'll go somewhere." And that's the reason I'm here today. 100%. Like those comments, if you leave those comments in small podcasts, small YouTubers and stuff, we see it. Everybody sees it. So like, don't just support Ninja. Support us, Ninja wannabes.
That's right. Thank you.
And we won't cuss you out.
It's true. I mean, a little bit.
Maybe occasionally. It depends on the subject. That's true. No, outstanding point, DC, and thank you, Hustle, for that. I appreciate those words of encouragement. And then I got my buddy here from DPS Podcast himself, Slow-Mo, and we do have your counterpart, Slow-Mo, is in the chat. He is here. The Great Gaming Forte is in the chat. But Slow-Mo, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. I know that you had so much going on with family and work and the holiday, and you still managed to be here. It means a lot. I always check your content out. I love it. It's outstanding. Keep the videos coming, but let people know where they can find you.
Hey, yo, Mooch, I appreciate that. Always appreciate being on Crossfire. It's always a good time. And yeah, you guys can check me out on Twitter at the name Slow-Mo Backslap, as well as my YouTube channel, Slow-Mo Backslap as well. I am on my way to 1,000 subs. Definitely going to get there pretty soon. So, and unfortunately, when I do get there, I got to play Bugsnax.
Yes!
Listen, if you want to see me a lot of deep sighs and face palming, hear me face palming as I'm playing a game I can't stand, hey, go ahead and sub to the channel, and maybe, hey, you might actually like the content too. So yeah,
it's great content. And let me tell you something, Slow-Mo. Over the holiday, we played a lot of Bugsnax as a family. It's an enjoyable game. I don't know if it's necessarily
you force your family into that.
Well, listen, it was.
I'm gonna have family night, damn it.
I'm a mooch, right? So we got it for free. I said, let's go ahead and check this thing out. And honestly, there's some humor to it there is some funny parts to it. Yes, it's a bit odd. There's something about it. But if you're forced to play it, I'm just saying this much, Slow-Mo, there are worse games that you could have been forced into. I'm just saying that. That's all I'll say. It doesn't mean you're gonna love it, but it could have been worse. It could have been worse. So
hey, look, I was forced to play Grounded. So hey, I understand.
Yeah. Exhibit A. Thank you so much for that, Slow-Mo. It's so true. And then I got my buddy here from Basement Radio Arcade Podcast Brap PC Master Race Exquisite. Right? Extraordinaire is what I meant to say. Enrique, let people know where they can find you. And as always, man, great to have you on the show. Thank you.
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. An absolute pleasure. What a great way to kick off 2021 with Crossfire. Great panel, great, everyone was great in the live chat, and please support all these content creators that are on the panel today. And please catch us on Basement Radio Arcade Podcast or BRAP every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself, Slow-Mo Backslap Gaming Forte, B-Money 101, and Eric Jackson. It's always a great time. So come hang out with us. And Mooch, thank you again. And Dreamcast guy, I want to say one thing real quick. I too wanted to kiss Tifa.
Oh wow!
Hell yeah!
Wow,
yeah, good.
I appreciate that last second. What you did right there. That's very similar to how DC ends all of his videos. He'll be like, "And thanks for watching. Keep dreaming." And then he'll go, "Man, just something's bothering me about this." And there's another 3-minute rant. It's great because the show's not over yet. I love it
because he tweeted and I think this was after the Kraken tweet. And then he's like,
drunk as hell.
Yeah, and then he's like, I want to kiss Tifa. And I'm like, and I respond to him, I'm like, hey, I'm about to go watch At-Fit Children now.
That tweet went way too viral. Even now I'm like, that's good content.
Dreamcast, that was great. I was like, I gotta bring that up tonight when I found out you're gonna be on.
Oh God, great stuff. And then I've got my buddy here, Xbot448, which Xbot, you were not on the hot seat
Grip
yet. Yes, I am Grip. And then we have to go, whoa, easy with the attitude. Xbot, listen, I got to be honest with you. Outstanding show tonight, buddy. You really brought it, and you made some outstanding points. Like I said, that's the part of Crossfire, Xbot, that I love, is that I kind of go into a subject sometimes, and I have one train of thought. You tonight brought up a few different thoughts, and it completely led me to the other side. So, Xbot, outstanding performance. Let people know where they can find you, and thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, brother. It is always a blast being on Crossfire. But, for people who don't know, man, Mooch gave me my first weekly seat on a podcast. I didn't even have a podcast on my own channel or anything like that. I made like one guest appearance, and before you know it, I was here every single week. So shout out to you, bro, for giving me that, man, giving me that audience. But yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. It is Xbot448. It is the home of the next podcast. Not only that, it is also the home of the Series X podcast with me and Jamie Moran. We don't do any console war. We don't do any console comparison. It's just Xbox news, Xbox entertainment for Xbox gamers. But I do have a couple new shows that are coming through. I am doing a new Destiny 2 show on my channel with some fresh voices, people that the community has not heard before, all within the Destiny 2 clan I'm in. I'm also doing a live stream / podcast revolving around 18 holes of golf in PGA 2K21 as well.
Very cool.
And just thought of it today, guys. Definitely want to subscribe to my channel, Xbot448, because it will be the home of the Grip.
Yes, I am Grip. Yes. I am Grip. I love it.
I love this.
We need a new logo, Xbot. You're gonna have to reach out to Shaun, or you're gonna have to reach out to I Am Deadbird. Get a hold of somebody that can draw and make sure that they make you an I Am Grip logo. Like that's just I think
I would buy that. You got to start a new series called Can I Break It? And you're like, we get the newest tech. Like we want to see just how much you can take, from the best gaming headsets to the newest gaming microphones, or even this fancy flimsy PS5 controller.
It's just a camera pointing down in his hands, literally destroying anything.
Literally shaking as he crushes things.
I love it.
The walnut episode.
I love it.
Bringing fisting to a whole new light.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
That's how you bring in 2021, if you ask me. Outstanding. Great stuff. There you go, Xbox. Those are some free ideas for you right there. Forte's also wondering why he wasn't invited to the Destiny 2. He wants to get involved with that. So let me say a shout out to Gaming Forte's information is on the screen.
Forte's on like 10 podcasts.
He is, but it doesn't mean he can't do a guest appearance.
My first special guest. How about that?
Absolutely. I love it. And there's Albert G says the Grip Gamer. I love it. This is going to blow up. This is going to blow up. Shout out to Gaming Forte.
I will buy a T-shirt that says the Grip Gamer.
I would too. Yes, I legitimately would.
Big hand around a fleshlight.
It says come for the fist.
No.
Yo, Xbox, you need to have a sidekick called the Finger.
Dude, I have very, very long phalanges. I can kind of be your model there.
I have extremely tiny hands.
Would you be my sidekick, lady? Would you be my sidekick?
I'll be your sidekick.
I'll be your guest. You can call me Princess Mitts because I have these tiny little girl hands. It'll be great.
Princess Mitts.
Oh baby hands.
I am shaking my head no at this point.
You know what I'm saying? Xbox, these ideas are so genius. I'm telling you, they're money.
God. What a
they're
breakthrough.
money.
This is YouTube gold.
Gold, gold laid on the floor.
Outstanding, guys. And then shout out to the Crap Gamer. Crap stopped by. He will be back next Friday. It's Crap Gamer Reviews on YouTube, and it's _Crap Gamer on Twitter. Do check out Crap. He's always got 2 or 3 videos out. He's also kept us entertained the entire holiday. 2-3 videos a day. Outstanding. I don't know how he does it. Shout out to Crap, and we'll see him next week. Guys, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm always here every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We will have a few videos out, so do check it out. Please hit the subscribe button on the way out if you're new or listening later, and we will see you guys with it. I plan on having a new set for you guys today, but it looks like I had to work a little bit harder with a few folks. It looks like it'll be next week, but I think you guys are really going to enjoy the final product. So stay tuned. I'll let you guys know. I'll tweet things out. Until then, enjoy your new year. Enjoy your holiday weekend, and we'll see you next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Peace out.
Come for the fist, stay for the grip.
My God.